For it to all be good to go and rolling, and we are on. Hey guys, how you going? So today on BKRsport, we are live as the Canberra Raiders are going to be taking on the Redcliffe Dolphins, and we are now into the juicy time of the season. It is round 12. Obviously, Origin is next week on Wednesday. It's going to be a massive time here on the channel, so I'm definitely looking forward to when that one comes along. And I tell you what, it's going to get spicy. It's going to get absolutely spicy on Wednesday as Queensland take on New South Wales. But we do obviously have a full round of rugby league action to get through first here before we can get into that. And obviously, all the players that are playing in Origin will not be playing this week. So you do have to keep that in mind when you're making predictions. You do have to keep that in mind in regards to how this week is probably going to operate, because there are plenty of players out. But let's go through the games this weekend. There's a shortened round. There's a lot of buys because of Origin. Then we'll get into the two-team lineups, and we'll see what you are saying in the chat, well, after we go through the ladder as well. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you are new around here. And obviously, yes, we do have a new microphone here, so hopefully it is working well and working smoothly. I will, obviously, this is the first time using this new microphone, so I will have to get used to it. So if anything goes wrong, or if it does peak, or if there's a bit of a weird sound or anything, let me know in the chat. But no, it's pretty exciting, man. So we've got this new microphone, and going to rock and roll with it, and obviously should make the quality better. And we shouldn't be having any times muting, which was the problem with the last microphone. I'm still using the same headset. I just don't have the microphone connected, and we've got this one now, so looking forward to it. But all right, let's get into what this round is meant to be. The Raiders are taking on the Dolphins here tonight. Tomorrow, we have only the one game. Usually we have two, but we'll only have one game tomorrow, which is the Canterbury Bulldogs taking on the Melbourne Storm down there at Accor Stadium in Sydney. That is a very winnable matchup there for the Bulldogs, with all the players out there for the Storm. The Bulldogs, they don't really have anybody out too much except for Stephen Crichton, who is... he's debatable that he got selected, but he did get selected. So that is going to be an interesting game where the Bulldogs, realistically, they should win that game. And they should win that game well. Storm haven't been good this season. They haven't even been amazing in their games recently, although they've been winning by good margins, they've been going up against a very injured Tigers team, and they haven't really had to prove themselves a great deal against anybody. Not that the Bulldogs are having to prove themselves, or they need to prove themselves, but it's not like the Storm are having to prove themselves against the Bulldogs, but this Bulldogs team, surely they're desperate, man. Surely they're desperate. And, when they did get that win against the Panthers, and they did win 13+ against Penrith, obviously Stephen Crichton was not playing in that game as well. So it is obviously a little bit of a extra little tidbit there that, the Bulldogs could maybe go in and sneak a big old win to get themselves out of the bottom four. So massive matchup tomorrow. On Saturday, we do have 2 games rather than 3 games. We've got the Dragons versus the Warriors, which is at Cogra. Good luck, Dragons, man. We'll see. We will see how that one pans out. You've gone and played first place last week, gave yourselves a decent little crack at Magic Round, but obviously weren't able to get the job done in the end. And, the Warriors there in second. So you go from first to second in back-to-back weeks. A big old yikes there. And then we've got Manly versus Gold Coast Titans. God bless me. God help me. Manly are in form right now. Going to need all the damn well help that we can get. We are going to need all the help we can get on that day with the form that we're currently seeing out of the big old Kieran Foran and the likes. And then obviously we go to Sunday, where it's the Cowboys. Actually, just a quick little bit though. Titans have won, I think, 4 out of the last 6 games down there at Manly. They've won 4 out of the last 6, and that's in shit years. They've won 4 out of the last 6 times down there at Brookie. So just a little bit of an idea for you. But on Sunday, Cowboys versus the Rabbitohs at Queensland Country Bank Stadium in Townsville. Look, Cowboys, I don't know how they're up there, but they're up there. And they got a good win against the Roosters last week. The Rabbitohs do get, a lot of losses in that game. But with that being said, I still feel like that's going to be extremely interesting, and it's going to go down to the wire, man. So I'm looking forward to how that one does play out. I'm looking forward to how it plays out. However, I still fancy maybe the Rabbitohs to sneak a little something there. But let's get into this game here today. Obviously, interesting little round. Oh, I should actually mention, obviously, the teams with the buys this round, because a lot of you will have them. So it's the Broncos, the Eels, the Newcastle Knights, the Panthers, the Roosters, the Cronulla Sharks, and the West Tigers. So they are the buys this round. After the first game, after today, when the game kicks off, you will see that aligned with how the ladder is. Like they'll put the 2 points from the buy immediately rather than waiting to the end of the round. They do that nowadays, which is really, really good. So you'll be able to adjust I'll be able to adjust this ladder as soon as the game does start. But all right, let's get into this game here today. So the Raiders, they come into this game from 12th position. The Dolphins come into this game from 8th position, and this is at GIO Stadium in Canberra. The ins here for the Raiders: Jake Clydesdale, Xavier Savage, and Zach Hosking, with the outs being Ethan Strange, Hudson Young, and Simi Sasungi. You go to the fullback, KO Weeks, with the wingers being Savella Tamala and Xavier Savage. And then you go to the centers of Sebastian Chris and also Matty Tomoko. The 5'8" is Dane Laurie, with the halfback being Ethan Sanders. The front row forwards are Corey Horsburgh and also Joseph Tarpany, who is the captain, and the number 9 is Owen Paddy. You go to the back row of Atamariota and Zach Hosking, with the 13 being Jaden Brayley. And we move down to the interchange of Tom Starling, Jordan Utah, Morgan Smithies, Jed Stewart, Chevy Stewart, and Jake Clydesdale, with the coach being Ricky Sticky Stewart. The Raiders, obviously this year, it has been a massive struggle for the most part, but they've been finding a little bit of form recently that has been putting them back into the fray. Obviously, they had a bye last week in Magic Round, which was hard for them. The week beforehand, they did actually compete quite well with the Panthers, and they did look like a pretty good team throughout. They didn't look like the third last team or second last team that they were at the time. They didn't look like that. But at a lot of points this year, they've looked absolutely awful. That was actually a pretty good game for the Raiders against the Panthers, in my opinion. But they did still lose 30-18 and kind of threw away a lot of opportunities late in that game. You go to the game before that, they beat the Titans 28-12. Titans were just tightening that day. It was something else to watch there from a Titans perspective. They did lose the Raiders. They did lose the Tigers 33-14, which wasn't great. They obviously beat the Storm 26-22 and the Rabbitohs 36-34. But before that, it was really just a struggle streak throughout the entirety first 5 games of the season. Lost the Knights 13+, lost the Sharks by 12 at home 34-22 when they were both a 1-3 stand at that time. Lost the Bulldogs at home 14-10. Obviously lost the Warriors 40-6 over there in New Zealand. And then you go back to round 1 and they got a sneaky little win over Manly, but this was at a point where Manly were 0-3 at the time. They weren't at the time, but they went 0-3 from this period because they were still under Anthony Seibold. So this isn't exactly a spectacular win. I don't think that any game through those first 5 games are something to write home about. That Manly team is not the same Manly team that you are seeing now. And I know you understand what I'm saying there. And I know Manly fans would agree with me too. You know, there was a complete vast difference between what Manly were playing underneath Anthony Seibold and, you know, how they were playing under Kieran Foran now, you know, a little bit of the Fosball. So, Manly are a very, very different team. So I don't actually rate any of their first 5 games, and that was disastrous. They ended up being 1-4. But again, they've got a couple of wins. They weren't amazingly convincing against the Rabbitohs. They weren't amazingly convincing against the Storm, but they got the job done. They weren't amazingly convincing against the Titans either, but the Titans are just simply the Titans. I'd say their best performance this year, funnily enough, was actually against the Panthers in round 10. Would anybody disagree with me on that one? Would you say that the Raiders have had a better performance in one of their limited wins? You know, they've had the 4 wins so far. 1 against Manly, 1 against the Rabbitohs, 1 against the Storm, 1 against the Titans. I don't think they were. Maybe I'd say the Storm game was probably the best of their wins, maybe. Maybe the Storm game was the best of their wins, but overall, that Panthers game does shine out at me and say, look, the Raiders might be, you know, back into being a lot more of a competitive team with that kind of performance, despite the fact that they lost. So, you know, they are still down there in 12th position right now. The buys don't help them because the Broncos, the Tigers, and the Sharks are 3 teams directly above the Raiders, and they've all got a buy. The Knights, they've got a buy as well. Panthers obviously have a buy, and the Roos have a buy. But the frustrating thing for Canberra here is that the 3 immediate direct teams above them all have the buy. So that is a big thing to focus on in regards to how much you're going to be improving on the ladder if you were to win this game here today. But realistically, screw the ladder. Think about your points differential, because minus 78 is not going to get you into a top 8. Minus 78 will not get you into the top 8. If it does, it's disastrous. Like we saw the Newcastle Knights do it, I think, in 2021. The same year the Titans made the finals. I think they had a winning record or a 50-50 record in 7th position, the Newcastle Knights. But they had like a minus 100 points differential. Actually, I'm going to quickly go have a look at that. The game still starts in like 25 minutes time, so we've still got plenty of time. So 2021... in round 25, the Knights had, wow. Wow. The Knights in 7th had a minus 143. That is crazy. The Knights had minus 143 in their points differential and came 7th. Obviously got knocked out first week to the Parramatta Eels. But, geez, that is very, very not normal. You know, in 2020, did we have anybody who go with where the Sharks make it with a 0, but everybody else was in the positives? Then 2021, we had both the Knights and the Titans with a minus points differential. However, the Knights did have that minus 143 to the Titans minus 3. In 2022, by the end of the season, not a single team was below plus 60. Wow, very quality year this year. Panthers just absolutely killed it again, but a very quality year. No one finished below plus 60, and that was you, Raiders, in 8th position. And then in 2023, no one finished. Oh, wow. Raiders, funnily enough, Raiders, you actually made the top 8 with a minus points differential of recent years. Minus 108, and you came 6th. That is diabolical. That was the year, I believe, when you were winning games by a fair margin, but also you would lose a lot of games by 1 to 12, maybe. No, sorry, you weren't winning games by a fair margin. You were winning games by 1 to 12, and you were losing games by a big margin, is what I think it was. So you couldn't really ever eat into that point differential. Point is, you won enough games that season, though. You did. You won enough games that season. Yeah, that is a disaster. But anyway, long story short, I'm not going to go through every single one because you go to 2024 and there wasn't a team, I don't believe, that made it. I know the Knights did it again with minus 40. So actually, there is a world. I should actually go back on what I said there. There is a world where you can have a minus 78 points differential and make the top 8, but you don't want to rely upon that. In how close this competition is, you know, there is the only teams that you're better at in points differential right now, Canberra, is the Bulldogs, the Eels, and the Dragons. You don't even want to be in a conversation with those 3 teams. And no offense to those 3 teams fans that I'm talking about there, but like you don't even want to be in a conversation with those 3 teams. And also you've obviously got the Titans there, actually on minus 86. So those bottom 4 teams, the only teams that you're betting on points differential, it's not a good sign. So that's the Raiders. Again, it's not been a spectacular season. I'm still not exactly sure where they're at right now, but that Panthers game was a pretty good sign that maybe they could try and get back into a lot better stead than they have been in the past. We move now to the Redcliffe Dolphins, and their ends Bradley Schneider, Brian Puniu, Francis Molo, John Finney-Ganofo, Lewis Simons, and Trey Fuller, with the outs being Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow, Herbie Farnworth, Cody Nikorima, Max Platt, Selwyn Cobbo, and Thomas Flegler. Yikes. That is a absolute yikes. Herbie Farnworth must be injured here because obviously he is not eligible for Origin. He has not been selected for Origin. That is just ridiculous. The Raiders, you have no excuses not to win this game 13 plus today. I'll be completely honest with you. You need to win this game, and you need to win this game well. The Dolphins, with those outs, Hamiso, Queensland fullback, Herbie Farnworth, international for England, and arguably the best centre in the game, the entirety of the NRL competition, Nikorima, fantastic 6, Max Plath, Origin, Selwyn Cobbo, Origin, Flegler, Origin. They've got so many players out here of such significant quality. They are decimated. The Dolphins shouldn't be going down to Canberra and win this game. So Raiders, this is a massive game for you because if you lose this, I'm counting you out. I'd nearly count you out. Yeah, sure, you don't have guys like Hudson Young, Ethan Strange, and Simi Sasangi, but for mine, you still should get the job done here comparatively to the outs that the Dolphins do have. The fullback, Trey Fuller, with the wingers being Jermaine Asako and Tavita Nafahu, centers of Jack Bostock and Brian Puniu. 5'8" of Bradley Schneider, with the halfback being Asai Katoa, who was the captain. And then you go to the front row forwards of Felix Kafusi and Francis Molo, with the number 9 being Jeremy Marshall-King. The back row is Keneli Lamwelu and Kilukafu Funifiwiaki, and the 13 Morgan Knowles, with the interchange being Kurt Donahue, Ray Stone, Tom Gilbert, Oren Keeley, Lewis Simons, and John Finney-Ganofo, with the coach being Christian Wolf. Again, like this Dolphins team does have some quality players. Funifiwiaki, I believe, should have actually deserved an Origin spot this year. I think that Finifiwiaki should have been there over Britton Nakora. I don't know what Britton Nakora has proved himself over the last year and a half. You know, he struggled at the Sharks. Finifiwiaki for the Dolphins has been absolutely gangbuster for the Dolphins. He's been scoring tries regularly. He's been just putting in a mountain of effort. Why is he not getting a crack? But Britton Nakora, just based on name alone, is getting in. And this is no hate to Britton Nakora because for a long time, I've had him as one of the best back rowers in the competition. He's alongside guys like Ola Kawatu usually and David Fafita back in the day, you know, when he was absolutely crushing it. You know, Liam Martin and the likes, you know, and Huddy Young, all these guys, fantastic in the position, but Britton Nakora is not where he was before. I really, truly believe that Finifiwiaki absolutely has deserved a spot here in this Queensland team, and he's been rorted. He's been rorted, and this is coming from a Queensland fan as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how that does all pan out, but I just feel like he's been really harshly done by there. So proud of my boy Jojo Fafita, and I'm looking forward to how he gets on. Hopefully Tino can find some form in Origin. Fuyaki's been robbed of the spot for mine. But look, this Dolphins team, they're still going to fancy themselves, right? They still know how to put some points on. But the best benefit to the Dolphins this season, which has adjusted my mindset. You can change your mindset. I don't care if you're a fan or if you're a player or you're a content creator or you're media personality. It doesn't matter. You can adjust your mindset as the season goes on. And the reason why I've adjusted my mindset on the Dolphins, I don't think that they're going to be a world beater long term because they did this in the middle part of the year. But the reason I'm a lot more positive about the Dolphins now than I was, say, last year and going into this season is that they are focusing on their defense before they're attacking. They are earning their right to attack. I keep using the test cricket terminology and comparison where the Dolphins are waiting for their moment to pounce. And then when they pounce, they absolutely can obliterate you. It just comes down to that defensive structure. If your defensive structure is right from the outset, they have been able to get through periods of games this year where, say, the Storm were pumping their line, or even more recently when the Rabbitohs early on in that game were pumping their line. The Dogs, they led 12-4 in that game as well against the Dolphins. The Warriors had their periods. The Panthers, obviously, in the first half just absolutely decimated them 18-0, but they came back to 22-18 before losing 23-22. To the best team in the comp. They played those two best teams in the comp, the Panthers and the Warriors 1 and 2, very close, losing by 3 points collectively between the two games. So this Dolphins team has impressed me in their tenacity to not be afraid if they go down, because they went down behind the Storm and then came back to win 13 plus, and they went down behind the Bulldogs after 30 minutes and they still came back to win 13 plus. So it's a good sign that they are prioritizing a lot more defense. Before the season, it makes sense to be critical. And before the season, anybody who was saying the Dolphins, based off of what they've seen last year, should be making the 8 were off their rocker, or top 4 were off their rocker, or even, and we heard people saying first position, they were off their rocker because they had nothing to base it off. But now we do have something to base it off. And I could definitely hear the conversation for top 4 a lot more. And I could definitely hear the conversation for top 8. However, they did this last year. This was what they did last year at this period, where they would win games by large portions, a large margin, and absolutely annihilate teams. But also, they fell apart in the back end of the season. So that's what we've got to watch out for here. But right now, they're playing some good footy. They are playing some good footy, and they come up against a very winnable game here against the Raiders from their perspective. From the Dolphins' thought process, the Raiders are a very, very beatable team. And from the Dolphins' thought process, they should probably expect it to win this game. It shouldn't even be look, maybe we win this game. We've got all these outs. I think that from their perspective, they're still probably going to be expecting to win this game because, again, the Raiders have only won those 4 games, which is only one less game than the Dolphins, mind you. So, I want to put this into perspective for everybody. For all the criticism that the Raiders have copped this year, and also, mind you, for all the criticism that the Parramatta Eels have copped this year, the Dolphins are still only 1 win above them. The Sharks are only 1 win above them. The Tigers are only 1 win above them. The Broncos are only 1 win above them. So if you're going to criticize teams like the Raiders and the Eels right now, well, you've also got to keep in mind that they are only 1 win behind this Dolphins team that everyone is circle jerking to oblivion at the moment. The Tigers, who have got a ridiculous amount of injury problems right now, and same thing with the Broncos. There's only 1 win that separates them. If the Raiders win this, they are equal with the Dolphins, the Sharkies, and the Tigers. And definitely the Dolphins, the Sharks, and the Tigers have a bye, so they are just equal with those 3 teams. And what's interesting is that this ladder will start to separate in regards to the top 8, which people aren't really kind of seeing at the moment. But if the Raiders win this game, it brings the Dolphins back in regards to keeping them at 5. Well, then it's getting a little bit of a tough ask because Manly probably should beat the Titans this week, and the Rabbitohs probably should beat the Cowboys this week, which means that everybody in the top 7 would be 7 wins or above. And then you've got everybody else competing for that 8th spot, and we're only into round 11. So it is starting to get to a point where you actually do need to start considering the ladder a little bit earlier than normal for mine, because you don't want to be fighting for 1 spot. You want to be fighting for a couple of spots. And right now, if the Cowboys and the Knights were able to win their games as well, that would keep the Rabbitohs down. But at the end of the day, they would then go to 8 wins. And then they're 3 wins above those teams. So it will start to get really dicey in that matter. Anyway, my prediction here for today's game, I'm going to go with the Canberra Raiders. I'm going to say the Raiders, and I'm going to say they realistically should win this 13 plus. And it's very difficult to tip a 1-12 game nowadays. Thank you, Peter Vlanders and Andrew Abdo. It's very difficult to tip a 1-12 game because the game is so high paced, so frenetic. If a team is leading by like 6 or 10 with 10 minutes to go, well, we might see the team that is down just be completely obliterated and tired, and they could still lose by 40. As in, they could still go from being down by 6 or 10 with 10 minutes to go and then win and then lose that game by 30 points, giving up 4 tries in that last 10 minutes. It's so difficult to actually pick a really close game nowadays because the the way the sport... Sorry, 1 second here. Hold on. Where have I got to... Still got to get used to this microphone. But I went to mute it like here, like I usually would do. But the NRL is so difficult to 1-12. So I guess most games you just have to go with, if you think a team's going to win, you probably have to lean with the 13 plus. So I think the Raiders are going to win. So on that notion, I'd probably say Raiders 13 plus. I don't want that to be the case. I would like it to be a 1-12. And look, either team can win this game. The Raiders are no certainties, and the Dolphins are no certainties with all their outs. But I just hate that we're going into this thinking that either way, if the Dolphins win this, they probably win 13 plus. If the Raiders win this, they probably win 13 plus. Please be wrong. Because every single week, we are seeing 6 out of the 8 games be 13 plus, with 2 games being 1-12, and not even spectacular fun matches, mind you, at that 1-12. But the 6 games are ending up as 13 plus, and 2 games are ending up as 1-12. There is 10 minutes to go until the game kicks off here, guys. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. But I think everyone can agree with me in that thought process, that at the moment, the NRL is completely all over the shop. And we're having to see way too many high scores, and we're just not seeing any 1-12ers. And if we're going based off of this round being a five game round, so that would mean that essentially 3 or 4 of them, you'd probably say, taking 3 games away, you just remove the 1 game. So it'd be 4 games you'd expect to be 13 plus, with 1 game being 1-12. If that was the case, like, you look across the matchups, Raiders Dolphins, like, I really do think with the outs could be 13 plus here. But I guess you could look at that maybe being a 1-12er. Dog Storm, okay, well, like, the matchups this round, they kind of do scream at you, saying, like, maybe there could be a sneaky little 1-12 here. The Dragons Warriors shouldn't be 1-12. Manly Titans shouldn't be 1-12. And Cowboys Rabbitohs, realistically, one of those 2 teams will win 13 plus. I just don't know who. So maybe our best chance at 1-12 games are actually in these first 2 matchups between the Raiders and the Dolphins, and the Bulldogs and the Storm, because the Bulldogs can't score for shit. And there's no Dogs fans who's going to argue that. And the Storm right now are no guarantees themselves. So anyway, I'm going to take the Raiders, and because of that thought process, I'm going to take them 13 plus. But Dolphins, you absolutely have an opportunity to win this game too. Neither team are certainties here. It's just the Dolphins have far too many outs for my liking. Now, in regards to the table, the Raiders, they're in 12th position on 10 points, equal with the Broncos. They've got a minus 78, whilst the Broncos are minus 57. So the Broncos have got the bye. So you Raiders, you won't be going above them unless you win this game by 20 points or more. If you won by 20... you need to win by 22 points. Then you would go above the Broncos into 11th. Tigers and Sharks jump away from you. The Dolphins, they're on 12, but they're on plus 43. So the highest that you can actually go, unless you won this game by a dead set 50-60, is into 11th position. You're not going to be jumping too high, but at the very least, you put yourselves onto that category with the 5 wins apiece, like those teams that I was talking about. So the highest you'll go is 11th, and that is only if you win by 22 points or more. If you don't win by 22 points or more, then you will stay in 12th position because the Broncos have the bye. But if you lose this game, well, Storm take on the Dogs tomorrow. So if the Storm win, they're on 8 points alongside the Bulldogs and the Eels. If the Storm win, they're on minus 8. So they will go above you. Raiders will go into 13th position. Depending on how much you were to lose here today, the Eels, they have the bye. No, so you're not going to be going below the Eels. Don't worry. You won't be going below the Eels. There is actually a chance, like if the Bulldogs win, they're on minus 103. They would have to win by, well, you'd need to know how much you lost by today, but there'd need to be a 25-point swing, not out of the equation. So you could actually just simply drop below the Bulldogs as well. There's a good chance you go into 13th regardless because the Storm and Dogs both play each other. You just can't lose by 80, and you're not going to lose. If you can't lose by 77, geez, Parramatta, your points differential is pathetic. If you lose by 77, then you would go below the Eels. It's not happening. So, long story short, you probably end up in the round of 13th. But with a win, you probably end up the round in 12th unless you win by 22 points or more. The Dolphins on the other side, they are in 8th position on 12 points, which is equal with the Cronulla Sharks and also the West Tigers. They've got a plus 43, whilst the Sharks have plus 34 and the Tigers have a minus 16. Now, if you win this game, you would go equal with the Cowboys, the Knights, the Rabbitohs and Manly on 14 points, but the Knights do have a bye. So forget them. They will go up into the top 4 after today. The Dolphins would need to, if they just win, they go above the Cowboys in the 7th, but they play the Rabbitohs later on this week. And the Cowboys and Rabbitohs both play each other. So it would come down to a 27-point swing between you and the Rabbitohs. If the Rabbitohs lost and you won, you would need a 27-point swing in your favour. But if the Cowboys, if the Rabbitohs lost and you won, but if the Cowboys lost and you won, then you just go simply above them. Right now, it's really awkward to go through this ladder with all the buys because I'm having to do this on the fly. And you would go equal with Manly, but Manly's plus 107, and they really shouldn't be losing to the Titans. I know they lost to the Titans 13 plus last year, but they really shouldn't be losing to the Titans. There just is no reason for them to do that. So if you win this game, it's really difficult to see where you'll come, but you'll be between the 5 to 8 range, more so probably the 6 to 8 range, and honestly, more so likely the 7. Probably 7th position is what I would say. But if you lose this game, Sharks have the bye, they go above you. You go into 9th. The Tigers have a bye, they go above you. You go into 10th position. The Broncos have a bye. They've got a minus 57. Forget them. So unless you lost by literally 100 points, and I think that's not even enough. No, that's not even enough. You would need to lose by about 110. So if you lost by 110, good luck with that. You would go below the Broncos. That's not going to be happening. So you would drop into 11th immediately, though. And then it just comes down to how much you lost to the Raiders by, but it's just not happening. So essentially, you would go into 10th position. Sorry, you would go into 10th position no matter what with a loss, but with a win, probably 7th. So not too much changes, but it's so awkward to look at these buys and trying to figure out the ladder and whatnot. But anyway, guys, that is the preview done. Let's get into the chat and see what you are saying. Obviously, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe if you are new around here. Let's get into the chat and let's fire it on up. Let's fire it on up, baby. Olivia Reed, she's firing it up. Says, with an $8 donation. Another day, another dono. Ready for some footy. Also keen to join the Titans Bay in Vegas next year. How good is it? He screw off Chad Townsend to call him out on Instagram because of his bullshit. It is absolute bullshit that he's yapping on about in regards to teams must earn their spot in Vegas. Shut your mouth. Shut up. Shut up, man. No one has ever had to earn their spot in Vegas. We sent the wooden spooners from last year over this year, and the third last place St. George Illawarra Dragons from last year to Vegas this year. And we've got bro yapping about how teams have to earn it and the Titans essentially should be kicked out of the back and kicked out of and essentially ineligible to go because we haven't earned it. Well, it's just surprising because I didn't hear Chad come out with his highly intellectual structural plan of rugby league when the Knights, who the wooden spooners, went over there this year to play a Cowboys team who was also not great last year, but the Dragons playing the Bulldogs when the Dragons were third last. Like, it's just absurd that we have these media personalities that really do enjoy just using the Titans as a punching bag. And it happens with the Tigers too, don't you get me wrong. And it's happening with the Dogs, and it happens with all these lower ranked teams. But fuck off is what I say to that. Like, it's actually ridiculous. It's ridiculous that we have such a brain dead comment in regards to teams have to earn it. If you want that to be the eligibility for Vegas, that's great. Do it once the contract ends. But to hear dribble from media personalities, don't talk about being kicked out the back, because we saw that with you at the Cronulla. We saw that with you at North Queensland. We saw that with you in New Zealand. And we definitely saw that with you at the Roosters in regards to getting kicked out the back. So if you're going to come for the Titans, don't worry. You can get come for as well. We're going to come back for you as well. So you say the Titans get kicked out the back and they're not eligible essentially to play in Vegas, and we're not allowed to enjoy our time. We're not allowed to enjoy ourselves as fans because we haven't earned it. Well, at the end of the day, maybe change your terminology from kicked out the back, because that's exactly what happened throughout your career at Cronulla, New Zealand, North Queensland, and also, who was the other team? The Roosters, who you barely even played for and you're a meme for. You know, like, I usually like Chad, and I think that he's a nice guy, and I think that at the end of the day, he's used the wrong words here, and he's been extremely disrespectful, and that's why I will respond to him like this. And I know that he's seen my story, and I know he'll see this too, so I couldn't care less. Like, if at the end of the day, if you want to make bold statements in regards to teams' ineligibility just because you don't fancy the matchup, well, then you're going to get responded to. And this is what happens in the media game. You know, I get responded to when I say stuff like that. So, Chad, if you're watching this, get a grip of yourself in regards to saying that teams are not essentially allowed to go because they don't meet your individual specific criteria, yet you didn't complain about Newcastle or St. George going over this year when the Knights finished lower last year. Just stupid, man, and really pissed me off. And that's why I respond to it like this. But thank you very much, Olivia, for the $8 donation, and I'll see you in Vegas because it's going to be a great time because we as Titans fans do also matter. Titans fans do matter. Doesn't matter if they're unsuccessful. Titans fans do matter just as the rest of them. The Dolphins have been in this competition for 2 seconds. 2 seconds in this competition compared to next year, which will be the Titans' 20th year anniversary. Just ridiculous. It was a ridiculous statement by a guy in the media who I don't believe is rage baiting, because you're not going to rage bait a Titans fan because there's not many Titans fans to rage bait. But you're not going to rage bait Titans fans because there's not enough there to really get that reaction out of. So I believe he genuinely believes his thought process just because the matchup is not what he fancies. Just stupid, man. Christy Dorr says that new microphone sounds nice. Yeah, appreciate it, Christy. It's brand new. I got it yesterday. You know, it looks the goods, and I can actually change the color too. So I've got the color as this. Oh, hold on one second here. I've got the color here as green because the Raiders are playing here today as the home team. But say tomorrow when the Bulldogs play, blue. Ah, there's the blue. Or when the Titans play, bang, it's like a light blue. I don't know if you can really see it. You know, if the Dolphins, the home team, you got the red there, purple for the Storm, I guess. You've even got this like different color one as well. I just think it's a really cool little niche little thing. So I've got it on for the Raiders there as the okay, I'm freezing up a little bit there. Maybe if I'm changing colors midway through the stream, it's going to do that. But anyway, yeah, no, it's a nice microphone. So shout out to you guys who obviously supported our way of getting it to that. Okay, I need to make sure that I don't change the color live on stream because I just saw that we were freezing up a little bit when we did that. Yes. All right, let me get to a bit more of the live chat here because we are super behind. All right, so we're going to scroll down a little bit. Not all the way down. Evan Kills, it's funny you should say that. I think Manly's best game was their loss against the Panthers. The Panthers have that effect on all teams like Melbourne and Brisbane over the years. Yeah, I don't mind it. Yeah, I don't mind it. I'd probably say that Manly's best game this year would probably be, for the most part, that Panthers game. I would probably say maybe it's a hard one because they've had some other wins, like the game against the Cowboys. The Cowboys gave it everything, as in like they gave them everything in regards to knock-ons and all that kind of jazz. But with that being said, like, Manly still looked pretty good in that game. Nate says, Abdo is like the freckle on my ass. He's absolutely useless. Okay. Okay. Nate says, he's like the new Barry White. And I'm like, mate, we're flying here, son. We're flying. Who's my try scorers tonight? As SB says, is everybody freezing up on the stream right now? Can you let me know? Peptide says, just like how Chad shouldn't earn his YouTube subscribers just like Random Joe instead of using his NRL fame. Well, you know. It really ticked me off, and that's why I responded with the way that I did. But at the end of the day, I don't think that he's a bad person. And I don't think that he has the wrong intentions, but I just think that he needs to adjust his mindset to understand that just because you don't fancy the matchup doesn't mean that some fans and some teams don't deserve their time in the light as well. Big Chad rant to get the show underway, absolutely. Andrew says, you're freezing, fella. Oh, I don't know what's happening here. So the Raiders are doing their clap right now. I don't know what's happening here. Maybe if I turn this off, does that turn the light off as well? Let me have a look. Maybe if I get a few things off of the screen. Give me 1 second here. I'm just making sure to get as much off of the screen, because now that I have this new microphone, it might freeze up a little bit. ASMR channel incoming, mate. We're on point. We are absolutely on point for an ASMR channel coming in red hot. All right, so we've done that. So the game is about to start here. The Raiders are out in the field. All good now. We'll see. It looks like on my end that it is still freezing up a little bit. But again, this is the first stream with this new setup. So just kind of forgive it today. I don't think it's going to be doing this the whole time. If it does, at halftime or when it gets really bad, I might have to just refresh everything. Anyway, try scorers tonight. Zesby asked me. I will go Zach Hosking for the Raiders. I will say Sebastian Chris as well in the back line. So Zach Hosking in the back row. I'll go Sebastian Chris for the centers for the Raiders. For the Dolphins, I might go with a bit of Trey Fuller. And then for the back row, I'll go Finifuiaki because he has a lot to prove in regards to the fact that he should have been in that Origin team for mine. All right, so the game has kicked off here, and it will be the Raiders with the ball. Raiders kicking this ball off. Let me just refresh this score, and hopefully we stop freezing. Or it may even make it worse, to be fair. Your voice is so majestic with the new mic. Sounds really good. I'm here, son. Don't you worry. You wait for the Titans game. Yeah, so we are having a few of these problems. Todd's, maybe it's okay now. We're going to try it again here, guys. Comment in the chat. Comment in the chat if we are back on and rolling when we do get back underway here. It is 4-0 to the Raiders. They have scored immediately through Jed Stewart, mind you. They have scored immediately through Jed Stewart. I can't see. Yes, mate, Mike, really good. Okay, sweet. So we're not freezing anymore. Okay, I don't know what happened, but unfortunately we had some freezing issues. Refresh the stream if you've been here since the start and get live with me. Tell me how many fingers I'm holding up just so that I know how far behind you are. But the Raiders have scored and it's 4-0 here with a kick to come Canberra. Jed Stewart is the one who did score the try. Ethan Sanders puts it through and it will be 6-0. Seb Chris is a late... Okay, not too far behind Andrew. Beautiful. Okay, so only about 5 seconds or so, which is not too far behind whatsoever. But Dane Laurie with a brilliant break there, and Jed Stewart just goes straight over. And that's not a good way here for the Dolphins to prove that they, are this same team even without all these players out due to Origin and whatnot. It's not a good way to prove that they're going to earn their right to attack through their defense, because that was pretty poor defense to really wake us up early. It's really got into us early. GTGT says it's going to be so hard to get out of our half, but if we do, I think our attack should be able to put points on the board. Let's go Fuller. I just don't know about the Dolphins today. They're missing so much in regards to their attack. Cody Nicarima is a huge loss. You've obviously got no Herbie Farnworth, which is a massive, your biggest loss. Hamiso, you could argue, is your biggest loss. He's your fullback. You've also missing Flegler, which is just going to be so difficult to get out of your half. And a guy like Max Platt, who is one of your strongest players as well. So I really don't know how I can see the Dolphins finding a way to win this game against the Raiders. If they play the same way they did against the Panthers, Canberra, then they will come through. But yeah, they are still missing Hudson Young, Simi Sasungi, and Nate, did you say that Seb Chris is a late scratching here? Did you say that he's a late scratching? Hold on. Oh, yeah, he is. Yeah, Jed Stewart came in for Sebastian Chris. So Jed Stewart's playing in the centre, but he was on the wing just then when he scored a try. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, well, you know what? I'm claiming it because I dropped ball there from Trey Fuller, but it goes backwards to Jermaine Sarko, and he brings play to the 15. Well, I'm claiming it because I said Sebastian Chris first, not first try scorer, but I said Sebastian Chris try scorer. He's taken in for his position that I didn't know was I didn't know was a late scratching. So I'm gonna claim it. I went Sebastian Chris, I went Zach Hosking, and then for the Dolphins, Trey Fuller and Fini Fubiagi. Hello, Mr. Streamer. Nice microphone you got there. Yeah, it's not bad, is it? They're going to get this ball now to the 40 through Bradley Schneider, and it's going to be fit tackle. Bradley Schneider actually used to play for Canberra, for people who don't know. So just to confirm, there's no buffering or freezing or anything now, correct? They're going to tell this ball to go back. Todd, get a grip. Let the ball play. So with that freezing, were you still able to hear my conversation about Chad and what he was saying? Like the full everything that I was saying about Chad? Or was it freezing the entire way through that as well? Nate says, I just got another bet in before kickoff. I had him in my bet. Jed Stewart. Good stuff. Good stuff. Hello, who scored? Edson says, Jed Stewart did score. He's in because Sebastian Chris is out. Not bad. Comes in last minute and first touch try scorer. It was all set up from a brilliant run there from Dane Laurie. Like he broke through as untouched because Dane Laurie just completely decimated that Dolphins defense and put him over in the corner. So first tackle now for the Raiders. And good to see Owen Paddy getting a start here as well. Highlands fan says, hello, sir. Titans first. Big congrats to you and your boys. Yeah, no, it's good stuff, mate. You know, it's really good stuff to see the Titans up there in first position. And, you know, they just keep on dominating, son. You know, very good win over there at Magic Round last week against the Dragons. And that's going to go for nearly a 40-20, but it will go to the... Oh, geez, Trey's really risky there, but it'll be Dolphins bought the 23 first tackle. Yeah, good win against the Dragons at Magic Round on Sunday. All G, and I had Seb Chris in my original bet. Okay, fair. Sometimes it would cut out. All I know is he's a Muppet. Yeah, long story short, I was saying that, yeah, look, I'll go with that. Chad Townsend's a Muppet for what he was saying. And that will be the simple version of what I said. 4 tackle. Kobe Shrew Drove says, why is it so hard to meet chicks on here? What on earth have I just seen in the chat? Fifth tackle now for the Dolphins. They're going to be the 45. Mitchell says that run single-handedly put Laurie into the Hall of Fame. Lucky for him, he was already there. Wasn't already there, Mitchell. Probably not there now either, and will probably never be there. KO Weeks, though, gets his ball and brings it out to the 20 on first tackle. GTR says, for me, the stream just froze and no sound cutting in and out, but we good now. Okay, we're good now. That's the main thing. As long as we're good now. Second tackle. And now Xavier Savage will bring this ball to the 35 on third tackle. My bad, wrong chat. No, I think that it's the right chat, mate. But my answer to you is because you're not a Titans fan. If you're a Titans fan, you're going to pick up Deluxe, mate, because they're first position on the table. But unless you're a Titans fan, that's why you can't meet chicks on here, dude. That's the reason. You've got to start really thinking about this in life. Hayes says, what's up, BK? Long time no see. Get around you, son. So they go to Ethan Sanders, who's at the 40, and he's going to whack that ball down into the corner here. Good chase from Saveli Tamale, sorry, and now the Dolphins will bring it out to the 15. Petti's mate says, Kobe, what advice do you need? I can tell you how to not get them. Yeah, but that's because you're a Dogs fan, not a Titans fan, Dad's mate. These are the things in life that we've got to really understand. Dolphins will bring it out to the 35 on third tackle. And now to the 45 on third tackle. He got away from a couple of tacklers just then. Cope playing his own game. Playing his own game. Obviously not really working too much for him, though. Again, to Trey Fuller, and he'll be at the 38. This is a little bit of good work here from the Dolphins at the moment, making some good meters. Now they'll bring it out to the 30 on fifth tackle. Nelson says, prayers up for Jairo. Yeah, look, that's a very tough situation. Obviously, he used to play for the Gold Coast Titans, and regardless of where he plays, really, at the end of the day, that's going to be a drop ball here from the Raiders, and the Dolphins are going to be 5 meters out from the line. First tackle, it goes backwards, so it's not 0, but first tackle for the Dolphins 10 meters out. Yeah, really hard because, it's such a tough situation. It's a massive part of what rugby league is, and I really hope that they make it a try July for Jai. They don't want to do Try July this year, Sportsbet and the companies involved. But I really hope they do it in honour of M&D and Jai Arrow. Marshall King to Kafusi. He's 2 meters out from the line, second tackle, but God bless him. Such a tough situation for him and his family. Out of the left-hand side, and the Dolphins will score. That'll be Tavita Nafahu. Tavita Nafahu will score the try, and it is poor defense from Canberra. Decent enough attack there from the Dolphins, and it's 6-4 here with the kid to come. Do you think AJ should be good for the Dogs? Well, I've always been saying, I've said for a long time now, Sharks would be a perfect fit for him, but if he goes to the Dogs, at least he'll be able to play fullback, and that'll give him a little bit of attack and spice, so yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that. I think that it's a great opportunity for him. He obviously doesn't want to play centre. I can see it in his attitude. His attitude changed years ago, but I can see that he doesn't want to play centre. He's openly admitted just not wanting to play centre before. The Dogs are offering him to play fullback, and again, I think the Sharks are a perfect fit for them, but I don't know what the cap is like. ESK is going to get timed out because he's spamming. So Daz, mate, please get in and Olivia, get in control of that, and Mitchell. But I think it's a great opportunity for him. I think it's a spectacular opportunity for him to go there and get a new fresh scene. And it'll be interesting living for him because Belmore and the Bulldogs, very different situation to what the Titans are in regards to living standards. With that being said, if you want to win something in your career and you want to be playing the position that you want to be playing in, well, it's a great option. Jake says, so you are telling me if I become a Titans fan, women will stop running from me when I get within 15 minutes of them? Yeah, no, they will run to you, mate. If you become a Titans fan, they will run to you. Isako, he will get the kick. It hits the post and goes in. So it'll be 6-6. 10 minutes gone in the first half, guys. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you are new around here. Jess says, was so hard to read, brought so much up for me with husband losing his battle with M&D. Just wish we could find a cure. Absolutely. Finding a cure. That's why I would really like Try to July to be a charity, community-driven event for Jairo and MMD. Not even necessarily specifically for Jai, but for MMD, which is such a huge impact in our sport. It is such a big play. And that's what we already have we already have plenty of things that go into MND, but I just feel like Try July is very important this year for every, for every single time there's a try celebration, you donate to that cause. Second tackle now to the M&D cause. Second tackle at the 15. Bretton says, that's devastating news about Jai. Prayers for his family. I couldn't imagine how I'd feel with how his young daughter is and me and my young fella and that happening. Absolutely. But he's a warrior, man. And now he'll put his voice, he'll put his godly voice to good use and get more awareness out into the public and into the game. And it's great to see the people really coming together and acknowledging, regardless, except for the mole who made it all about himself when he decided to break the news on his own Facebook page. Dolphins might actually catch this. The Dolphins may actually score here. Oh, no, his foot's gone out, unfortunately. Oh, Jack Bostock did so well here. They're gonna call this a try. No, they're not. They're going to go to the bunker. I'm pretty certain his legs get dragged out here. Lost Rob Burrow and Carl Webb over the past couple of years from it. Such a horrible thing to hear. Absolutely. So it's going to be first touch Canberra. It goes... Oh, it's going to be a knock on. So it'd be Dolphins ball, wouldn't it? At the 20 or so. Bostock is onside. Oh, okay. Well, that was just a really weird way to say that. You could have just said Jack Bostock is onside. You didn't need to go down a path where you start to lead us to believe that you were going to call it as an offside. Clear run by both players. Who touched this ball first? Bostock. Ooh. Who touches this ball first? Is it Savannah Tamale or is it Bostock? Oh, it's Bostock. Now we just go... Yeah, it comes off Jack Bostock. Now we just go to see if it touches Savannah Tamale. Oh, I don't know if you can overrule this. This will be interesting. Oh, they're saying that just simply does not... I think he goes over the sideline here anyway, but I swear that touched Savannah Tamale. I'm pretty certain he goes over the sideline here, though. His legs go down just before he gets it. It'd be amazing if he gets it. And no, he's out. Yeah, his legs just got dragged out. So they're going to say this doesn't even touch a Raider. So this should be just the Raiders ball then at the, 15 or so. Eden says, what's the bunker talking about? Did you just hear that? Well, yeah, when they're speaking about having to have both feet behind the kick, and it's like, well, yeah, but you only really need to speak about that and say that. This is very pedantic, but you only really need to speak and say that when when the player is offside. So you're helping people to understand why you're about to call it offside when he wasn't offside. So all you have to do is say Jack Bostock is onside. If he was offside, that's when you say you have to have both feet behind the kick, and unfortunately he wasn't, but that wasn't the case. So third tackle now, Matty Tomoko for the Raiders brings his ball to the 35. New mic sounds good, mate. No, it's pretty good. No, it is, mate. I've had to do a few tweaks, and we had a few freezing up issues at the start of the stream, but at least we're sweet now, and Bulldog Storm will be an interesting game tomorrow. Fourth tackle here at the 35, and they go Joe Tarpany. No, I just got really sick of that muting stuff, man, because I would speak for ages and ages. Like, I would speak for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and then it would be muted since 2 minutes in, and it just really ticked you off, and I know it would annoy you, let alone annoy me. And Jermaine Sarko would get this ball to the 20 on first tackle. Try Bostock, king of NRL at the moment. Yeah, not a try, though. And I would say right this very second, king of the NRL, like, Jack Bostock. I'd be looking towards Jermaine Sarko at the moment before I'd be saying Bostock, even though Bostock is a fantastic player, but king of the NRL, let's settle down. let's settle down. So fourth tackle now for the Dolphins, and they'll be at the 35 on their own side of the field. Bunker just talking for the sake of it. Bunker just talking for the sake of it, but at least they made the correct decision at the end of the day. Sarko taking down to the 50 on fit tackle. So let's go the Raiders. I go to Schneider. And this should be an easy grab now for Savannah Tamale. Well, the Raiders, after their opening, a hot start in the first 4 minutes, have really gone back into their shells a lot more. They're really not opening up as much as you would have liked them to have been. And Xavier Savage, he's going to get this ball here to the 40 on second tackle. Now to the 45, 14 minutes in. King of the NRL is retired, actually used to play for Glebe, Will Zillman. So Will Zillman didn't actually play for Glebe, Peptides, mate. No. He was actually originally at the Raiders and then went to the Titans. So no, unfortunately, you are incorrect there, mate. Will Zillman did not play for the Glebe Dirty Reds. Kyle Weeks, he'll be at the 45 on the Dolphins side of the field, 4th tackle. I really hope this is a 1-12 game. Not that it probably is, but I really hope it is. Raiders now, Zach Hosking, 5th tackle to the 35. I do really back in Zach Hosking for a try here today. Ethan Sanders is going to whack this one up. Good chase here. Good chase. There's a lot of players falling over everywhere. It's going to bounce off the post here. Again, it's going to be a try for Corey Horsburgh. That is the luckiest try you're ever going to see. That may be king of the NRL is gut, though. Annie, come on. Too early on the weekend to be getting this drunk. It's Thursday, Annie. Come on. Annie, it is Thursday. Look, if you got work tomorrow, gee whiz, but Thursday's too early to be jumping on the old tequila shots. But it is ladies' night, actually. Thursday night, ladies' night. Well, there you go. I want to see how these players all fell over around, but that's hit the crossbar twice. That's hit the crossbar twice, and the Raiders will score through Corey Horsburgh. We all know Dominic Young is the best NRL player. Yep, Jake is on worse than the tequila right now. He's on the Iraq. He is on the Iraq. That's bounced off of the upright, off of the crossbar literally twice. Roy McNichol says, the milk listening from Lisbon. Lisbon. Get around you, Roy. All the way in Lisbon. Beautiful. Are you going to be there during the World Cup, or how long are you there for? Because obviously the World Cup starts in about 2.5, 3 weeks. Tell you what, it's going to be a pretty fiery time. Now, I know it's going to be early games for Europe, but that'd be a pretty fiery spot there, Portugal, for the World Cup. Mitchell says, what's with the 9 now always being a set behind? Foxtel, please come back. Do you not... What do you mean, Foxtel, please come back? But hold on. What are we hearing here? I've never seen the ball hit the crossbar twice. Okay, sorry, Voss was saying something bold there. Have we ever seen the ball hit the crossbar twice? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't think so. I think he might be right. He may be right there. He may be right. When was the last time that anyone saw the ball hit the crossbar twice? Rory says, I'm Australian living in the UK. I'm just in Portugal for a holiday. Leaving on Saturday. Whereabouts in England? Oh, in the UK. Not even England necessarily. But good stuff. Well, UK is going to be a great place for the World Cup anyway. Regardless. Benny West says, so they get the kick, so it's 12-60 to the Raiders with 24 minutes to go in the first half. But how do all those players fall over? Like, we saw 4 players fall over from both teams just before that try. Benny West says, Laurie Daly was an inspiration to the Blues when playing. Loved him, but not even a time machine will save him if this team underperforms. Nah, let's be serious now, mate. Casey Maguire is going to be fantastic for the Blues this year. Like, spectacular. Casey Maguire is such an unbelievable selection. Such an unbelievable selection. Manchester. Oh, but the real question is, which one do you support, though? So the Raiders will get this ball here at the 5. And Corey Horsburgh brings it out to the 10 on first tackle. Blake Tuff, the greatest fullback, can't believe Dogs let him go. Yeah, you've got yourself a 1-minute timeout. Yeah, no, you've got yourself a 1-minute timeout for that bad boy. You knew it was coming too. You did. You knew it was coming. Blake Tuff, greatest of all time. You knew it was coming. Third tackle here at the 20 for Atamariota. And they go out to the right-hand side to Ethan Sanders. No, not Ethan Sanders. It's going to be Morgan Smithies. And Morgan Smithies brings it to the 28. Not a fantastic set, this one. Kyle Weeks sent off to Atamariota. And good run there to the 42. Looking for some post-contact. Gets the 45. Fit tackle. A Liverpool fan. I'm so sorry to hear, mate. I'm so sorry to hear this disastrous name. But at least it's better than the red side of Manchester. So Trey Fawley gets this ball and he'll get it off to Taveta Nafahu, who'll be taken out of the 25 on first tackle. That try was crazy. The last bounce off the turn went so high, hits the bar twice and falls in the lap of Big Red. Out of all players, it falls into the lap of a guy that you just would not be expecting to score at all, Corey Horsburgh. Third tackle out to 40. Ali Said getting around it. He supports Salford City, the real Manchester team. Oh my gosh, Dads, you're making us do it. You're making us do it. Like I'm forced to do it. So fourth tackle, Bradley Schneider gets that to the left. They're away here to Nafahu. Nafahu at the 30. He kicks his ball over the top. Where's the ball going to bounce? It's going to be Owen Paddy who gets it, and he'll go over the dead ball line for a dropout. Great little kick there from Taveta Nafahu, and Owen Paddy has to take it dead over the dead ball line. Hi, mate. How are you? Going all right, I'm it. Going all right. When Walsh was playing for New Zealand, he hit both crossbars whilst kicking the conversion. No. So that's different. So we're talking about the crossbar. That's the two uprights. That's the two posts. The crossbar is the one that connects in between. Connects the two posts. So, yes, we've seen that before. I remember, I think Darren Lockyer kicking a field goal actually against the Titans back in maybe 2009 or 2008, and it hit both of the posts and went in to win the game for the Broncos. That was back maybe 2008, 2009. We've definitely seen that before. But I'm thinking, I'm asking, have we ever seen a ball hit the crossbar multiple times? Yes, Amit, we will be live for the World Cup this year. Plus, we've also got some cricket coming up too with the internationals. I think England, New Zealand is next week, isn't it? Go out to the right-hand side, Jack Bostock. Bostock at the 15. Before tackle here at the 10. Ali says, remember when I said if Eels win against the Storm, I'll give you $5? Oh, you've got yourself timed out. You've got yourself timed out there, son. There's only one S in Storm, champion. There is only one S in Storm. Dolphins at the 8. They go to the left-hand side with Sai Katoa. Katoa, chance here, knock on Raiders. And it's going to be a fresh set here for the Dolphins back at the 10. The Dolphins will get this ball back at the 10. Wakefield about to say, moderators, you've got to keep an eye on those Storm with the two S's. Wakefield about to sign Suliasi Vunivalu. Vunivalu was amazing with the Storm. Where's he been? He's been in rugby union, hasn't he? I haven't even heard Suliasi's name for a long time, but gee whiz, how good was he for the Melbourne Storm back in the day? He was a great player. 20 minutes to go in the first half, 20 minutes gone. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here. Don't forget, we'll be live Bulldog Storm tomorrow night. Bulldogs very desperate for a win. Storm also very desperate for a win. Trey Fuller gets it off here to Asako. Not the play, but luckily stays in the field of play. First tackle now. They're 3 meters away from the line. Get it at the back to Schneider, then to Finifiwiaki. He'll be 10 meters away. Second tackle. Raiders, your defense last year was good. Your defense this year has been absolutely horrific, son. Horrific. Third tackle now to 3. So this is a big set for you to hold out. Because just imagine if you were playing this Dolphins team with their actual players, because they've got a lot of their star players out here today. They go quickly. Oh, another knock on it from Jed Stewart, but it's going to be 0 tackle for the Dolphins at the 15. Rory says, 2016 State of Origin, Thurston managed to hit both sides of the post and the crossbar thing. Well, that's impressive, but also not the crossbar twice. But that, yeah, bang, bang, bang. That's impressive. But I'm still trying to figure out if it's hit the crossbar twice. Try time for the Dolphins. Good offload there from Felice Kafusi to an absolutely rampaging Morgan Knowles. The English go crazy. The English can get wild for that one. Try time for the Englishman, Morgan Knowles. It's about to be 12-12. 2 slapped down with 2. Hollander says, so you'll be streaming New Zealand versus England test or too busy? No, I'll be streaming as much as I can. We've got the FIFA World Cup coming up where I'll be covering Australia, New Zealand, England, South Africa, and I can't remember. But anyway, we've got plenty of teams we'll be covering. Try time, bing bong, Madamish. Hay says, in my opinion, Drinkwater is a top 10 fullback all time. Hayes, Listen to me when I tell you this. Listen to me when I tell you. Drinkwater is not even in probably the top 40 to 50 fullbacks of all time. What on earth are you talking about? The Drinkwater is a top 10 fullback all time. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we actually seriously doing here? Ryan says, Blades, which teams come out the best after all 3 origins? With obvious squad rotations, makes for interesting results in most games. Which teams come out the best? No, the top 10 Cowboys fullback of all time is crazy, Nelson, but also don't disagree. Actually, we'll name 10 Cowboys. You're gonna put them in the top 10 Cowboys, but I get the joke that you're making. Ryan says, so which teams come out the best after all 3 origins? So can you provide a bit more context? With obvious squad rotations makes for interesting results in most games. Sure, but like, are you saying like who is going to come out of this next 6-week period with the most wins in this specific 6-week period? Is that what you're suggesting? Samuel says, Chad Townsend hit both uprights and crossbar, but no one has hit the crossbar twice. Fair enough. I still can't believe I just saw a Scott Drinkwater top 10 fullback of all time. So you're putting Scott Drinkwater among the names of Billy Slater. You know, we've got, we do have Tedesco there. We've got players like James Tedesco. We got, no, I said James Tedesco, Anthony Minicello, Brett Stewart. I'm just naming the new age ones as well, mind you. Jared Hayne at his peak. Are we seriously even discussing a thought process? And a lot of those guys, some people would probably have debates because you got to use the old fullbacks too from right back in the day. You know, Benny Barber, fantastic in his time. First Origin games on Wednesday, Jess. This Wednesday coming up. Raiders get this ball and they'll bring it out here to the 25. The amount of fullbacks, we go back over 100 years. Scott Drinkwater's not in the top 50, bro. Oh my gosh, Savalo Tamale has been so poor this year. Oh my gosh. Knock on from the Raiders at the 30, and the Dolphins now will be at the 25, at the 20 on first tackle. Gary Belcher, exactly. But the thing is Luke, I'm trying to go through all the fullbacks of all time in my head right now, and they're just all coming at me at once, and it's just confusing my brain at the moment. But, you know, we could name dead set 50 fullbacks, I reckon, over Drinkwater. You can't say he's a top 10 fullback of all time, but the worst defensively. Well, that takes him out of the top 100 if he's the worst defensive fullback of all time. And he says, Drinkwater's going to be a future Dragons immortal. Oh, and he's starting to drink the old Dasmate sauce. Second tackle here at the 3. Just for the Dragons rather than the Bulldogs. Asai Katoa, Jack Bostock, Jermaine Sarko. 1-on-1 here. Good chance, good try for the Dolphins. 16-12 here with a kid to come. There is no defense in this game whatsoever. No defense in this game whatsoever. No way. No defense at all, son. Over the 6 week, who are the biggest movers? Biggest movers? All right, well, I need to go and have a look at the ladder here to really get a good read of this. Because, again, I don't know who everyone's specifically matching up with as well, which is a tough one. Like, based off of purely top of my head, looking at teams, you can't... Like, Warriors should, but they're not actually that amazing of an Origin team as much as people think. The Raiders, I think they're the best team during... The Raiders are the best team during Origin typically, which is quite a weird thing to say. They're down right now and they're probably about to be down by 6, but Rabbitohs will have a few outs. Thank you, Islanders, for the 10 jewels. Knights don't have anybody out, really. Maybe Dylan Lucas, but I don't think he'll actually make it into the team. Storm are going to find it tough. You know what? There is an argument to be made for the Bulldogs on the basis that all they're missing is Stephen Crichton, and they've shown they can beat the Panthers 13+ without Stephen Crichton. Thank you for the party hat, Highlands fan. Get around the party hat. Get around the old party hat. 14.5 minutes to go. Huge, man. Sarko, J Saf and KP, sure, but we're comparing with other teams there. So who else are we looking at there? Yeah, Storm are going to find it tough. Like, really, with the low ranking on the table, Sarko will miss the kick, so it stays 16-12. Because the Titans are in second last, but they're missing, you know, Jojo Feeder and Tino, which contextually is massive for the Titans, but it'll be interesting to see how they go this week. The Eels, they lose Moses. Like, whatever they got. Bulldogs really don't lose anybody besides... They don't really lose anybody besides Mitchell... they don't really lose anybody besides Stephen Crichton, the Bulldogs. So really, this should be their time to really pounce on any mid-season jump. Appreciate you for the press F. Islanders fans, the Raiders will kick this ball off and the Dolphins will bring it out from their end goal to the 5, and then... it'll be Felice Kafusi, and then takes it to the 15 on first tackle. I changed my tip last minute for this game, and now I'm scared. Did you take the Raiders, did you, Olivia? The Dogs are morals tomorrow. For the first time in about a year, this club has looked at themselves as the problem. We'll see about that, guys. We'll see about that. I've tipped you, though. Asako is in the top 25 goal kickers of all time, Michael Blackmore says. Do you have any statistics to back you up on that? I do love Asako as a kicker, but as you've said that he's just gone and missed a conversion, mind you. But 25 is at least a decent enough range to get a conversation going, but I'm sure that there is so many. Like, if we just think right this very second, Nathan Cleary is above him immediately. You know, that's not me saying he's the best kicker of all time, but just in the game right now. So would you assume, you can't tell me that he's better than Cleary. So are you assuming then that Asako is guaranteed second? Is there really another better kicker than Asako right now on conversions for the most part? Statistically, can someone get the stats to show where Asako would be ranked right now for kicking? But like, we've got so many. Hazem Masri, bloody Lang, so many over the years, bro. JT. So many over the years, man. 4 tackle here at the 30, and Tom Starling off to Morgan Smithies. He'll be at the 40 on fit tackle. Haven't been greatly impressed by the Raiders here today at all, mind you. The Wilds will be the first to lose to the mighty Red V. Oh, Nate's just trying to rage bait him. He's just trying to rage bait him. The Dragons will bring it out to the 20. Not the Dragons. Settle down. Now I'm starting to say Dragons because there's so many Dragons coming to the chat. Second tackle here for the Dolphins, and they'll be at the 35. He's top 5 right now. He's top 5 right now? Okay, well, he's not top 25 then all time. No. Tigers didn't lose a single player to Origin, but they'll have a lot of players at the World Cup. They will, because they've got have most of Fiji. Samuela Faianu, Latu Faianu, Sione Faianu. They've also got Dream Baller, Apisai Korowi Sao, Sunyaturova, all Fiji. Dude, it's ridiculous. No, Safato's not Fiji. Isaiah Katoa kicks this one down to the 15. Jack Bostock goes up for it. He'll knock the ball on, and Raiders will have a 0 tackle set at the 15. Well, you can't say it's a completed tackle there, referee. Are you kidding me? Aiden Guerra has a 100% convert rate in his career. Yeah, well, Paul Gallen has kicked 100% of his field goals in his career with 1 against the Tigers in 2019. So would you then justify Paul Gallen being the greatest field goal taker of all time? Took Raiders 1 to 12, 24 to 20. I think there's probably way more points than 24 to 20 right now. This is looking like an extremely high scoring game. Third tackle now for the Raiders at the 30. And Ethan Sanders is going to kick this ball early for a 40-20 attempt here, but it just won't have the angle on it. Stats analyzer, yeah, fair enough. Benny West is banning front to on-shoulder charges was a joke. I bet a female-made rule or a very feminine man. It's a very tough sell of a conversation to have right now, man, with the situation we've had with Jai Arrow. Second tackle now at the 35. Obviously, we all love what the game used to be back in the day, but we also all understand that it's very difficult and near on impossible to have the game to the same way it was. That's a forward pass there from the Dolphins. They've missed it, though. Forward tackle here at the 40 for the Dolphins. They're making plenty more meters than the Raiders right now. I guarantee they'll show in the average set distance at half time. 20 meters away. Marshall King steps back to the right-hand side. It's Isaiah Katoa. Bostock chasing it through. No, Savella gets it, but he is going to be taken back into the in-goal for sure. And he has. Dropout coming on up. Of course, Benny West says that. It's a very Benny West comment, right? The best conversion you've ever seen was Kieran Foran. Yeah, love it. Yeah, love it. Kieran Foran with that beautiful conversion from right in front. Nathan Cleary, Panthers 53. Nico Hines, Sharks 45. Sam Walker, Roosters 42. Jermaine Sarko, Dolphins 42. Tanner Boyd, Warriors 40. But we're talking about percentage though, Brenton. So that's great, but that doesn't that just means the Panthers have essentially scored more tries to give them more kicks. Percentages will give you, regardless of how many tries you've scored, how much of the percent that you're getting. So it's about percentages. It's not about the actual specific number of conversions they've made, in my opinion, anyway. Josh Papali'i conversion rated 100% is 300th. Mate, Josh Papali'i, what a man. He scored that try too, didn't he? I think he scored that. Morgan Smith might have to come off for the HIA here. Nelso says, 1 Hazem, love it. Hazem's my favourite goal kicker of all time. 2 Maloney, 3 Croker. Oh, Jared Croker is a forgotten one as well. 4 Adam Reynolds. Okay, no, we're getting ridiculous. No, Adam Reynolds being that high is ridiculous. Matthew Ridge was great. Thurston should be higher. Daryl Halligan, Nathan Cleary, Cameron Smith, Andrew Johns. Was Cameron Smith that good of a goal kicker, though? Like, he was a goal kicker and he was good, but was he that good? I don't have the stats to back me up here. The only thing I'd say is Adam Reynolds is he's a great goal kicker. I'd hear the conversation, but way too high at 4, bro. Way too high. Oliver Pascoe's never missed a conversion in his career. We all know who the greatest is. Exactly right. That's exactly right. Second tackle leave of the Dolphins. They're 10 minutes away from the line. 10 minutes to go here the first half, folks. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new around here. Yeah, the fact he has Daryl Halligan out of the top 3 is wild. And they've turned him inside here. Sakatoa looking for a run under the post, but be third tackle 2 meters away. Raiders just not looking great here. Dolphins just simply looking like the better. They go out to the left. That's way too hard. That's going to be way too hard for a 7 tackle set. You just absolutely crush any chance that you had of that was really good stuff until it wasn't. Okay, Bretton says Jermaine Sarko, 85.7%, Ruben Garrick, 84%, Ethan Sanders, 84%, Nathan Cleary, 84.1%, Adam Reynolds, 83%, Nico Hines, 83%. Okay. That's a good argument there for Jermaine Sarko in the current... I'm still saying that Nathan Cleary is a better conversion taker in his career than Jermaine Sarko, but that'd be a good conversation if someone could get the stat of comparing is Sarko in his career to Cleary in his career, not just this year. But I hear that argument there that right this very second, he does have a better conversion rate. And that is awful from the Raiders. They've just knocked that ball on cold, no pressure whatsoever, and it'll be Dolphins ball here at the 40. What's in my top 10? I just asked ChatGPT who's the best who has the best percentage of all time. You're telling me that Adam Reynolds has the 4th best percentage of all time? And also, I just realised Maloney's there. Is that James Maloney? I just realised James Maloney. Like, I hear Jared Croker. Not that high, but I hear Jared Croker. But is that James Maloney that I can see there in number 2? The Dolphins now will be at the 25 on second tackle. All-time is Sarko 80%, Nathan 84%. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I still take Nathan Cleary. Dolphins are right on through. And one of the easiest tries you're going to see. Raiders, I tell you what. You are simply just not going to do well this year. There's just nothing that you can really get excited about for mine because your best result so far for mine was a game against the Panthers where you lost by 12 points. The Dolphins have Herbie Farnworth, Hamiso Tabuafido, Max Plath, who else? Cody Nikorima, and Tom Flegler all out in this game. Sure, you've got no Hudson Young, Simi Sasangi, and whatnot, and Ethan Strange, but this is just pathetic stuff. It really is. Dolphins, you haven't had to do much here today, but whenever you've had the ball, you definitely look better than the Raiders do. You definitely look better than the Raiders do. James Maloney has an 81% career kicking according to ChatGPT. Fair enough. I wouldn't have him in top 10, but sure, like the percentage proves a lot. Yeah, and also, I've got to be honest with you, ChatGPT is not reliable, so I just need to really kind of knuckle down on this one as well. ChatGPT might be also giving you wrong numbers, because whenever I ask in-depth stats about things, sometimes I need to really focus it and remind it that it's wrong. Like, for example, you should go and check if that actually is his statistic, which it might be, but ChatGPT is not exactly 100% reliable. 22-12 here to the Dolphins with 6 minutes to go in the first half. Oh, Circle Jerk is on in the commentary again. Circle Jerk is on in the old commentary again. It is on in the old commentary. Jason Taylor at the Bears. Yeah, we don't talk about the Bears though, Nath. We don't talk about the Bears over here. 6 minutes left here this first half. Dolphins just run it in too easy at the moment, son. Way too easy. And the Raiders, nowhere near good enough as we currently speak. They will keep this one down to the in goal. And the Dolphins bring it out here to the 10. Well, again, Ray, it's like you're not going to be dropping off too much here, but at the end of the day as well, you will go back down to 13/14 range. you will go back down to 13/14, and you'll be very close to going back into the position that you were in, that you had to fight yourself out of. Well, the Dolphins are going to knock this ball on here at the 20. Mind you, this is in Canberra too. The Dolphins will knock this ball on. The Raiders are going to get the ball, but they're going to challenge us here, Redcliffe. This is generally the worst game I've seen this season. The commentators lack any bit of energy and make it so hard to watch free-to-air commentary. I'm watching on WatchNRL.com. There isn't really a great deal of energy behind this, but that's because you've got to remember this weekend is very akin, very similar. So they're challenging this, very similar to round 27, where no one really cares about it. I'll be honest with you. Oh, you can't say that's a strip. You cannot say that's a strip. At the end of the day, he's still got the ball there. You can't say this is a stripping action. There's no stripping action there. You can't say this is a stripping action. No way. No, Bunker. You're fucked. Like, this game's so screwed, bro. This game is so screwed. Like, there's no way that you... So you're telling me what we just witnessed is enough to overturn a challenge. It's enough to overturn the on-field call, was it? One, it was debatable in the first place. Sure, his hand is on it, but that hasn't even been called a strip in the last couple of weeks. I remember seeing that one of the games in Magic Round, it wasn't called a strip. Now it's called a strip, but also you have had to guarantee 100% that is a stripping action. Where was the actual stripping action? Like, how was that a stripping action there? Dolphins fans, look, just understand it for a second, that if you believe that is a strip, that you're watching it from biased lenses, because that is not a strip. It is not a textbook strip. It is not what should be overturned. That should have been Raiders' ball. But ultimately, the Bunker are always going to get that wrong. They always do. No matter what it is, the Bunker will always get whatever the call is wrong, and the NRL will never hold themselves accountable. Yeah, exactly right. Bunker asked ChatGPT to make that call. 4 tackle at the 15. 6 again here for the Dolphins too at the 15. And luckily for the Raiders, they're going to get a knock-on from the Dolphins. Paul says the Bunker on fraud alert. Now, the Bunker's been on scam for years, bro. That's a penalty. That's a penalty. No, they're going to call it a 6 again. Well, the ball was just out of the 20s, so that's fair. Ball don't lie, Brenton. Shouts out to the humans. So I come for the stats, I stay with the Reds. We had a good one about Chad Townsend at the beginning of the stream, but apparently we froze up a little bit. That's exactly how it feels. Like they say they don't care. Gus went on a 10-minute conversation on a story back in his days and talking about text messages he's receiving from Andrew Johns. Yeah, so what I was trying to say was that this round is very akin to round 27 because everyone's just focused on finals, and the next week, right now, everyone just cares about Origin. No one gives a shit about this round, really, and especially the fans of teams that are not playing this round. They're just thinking about Wednesday. So everyone's just waiting for this. That's another 6 again here for the Raiders. Everyone's just waiting for this round to be over so we can get into Origin is essentially what you're feeling right now. What is this ref on? Jeez, it's Todd Smith, mate. You surprised. Over the top. Great pass there from Sanders to Savella Tomato. Savella Tomato back on the inside. And he'll be taken down to the 35. Second tackle. He's still going here. He's still going. Don't offload that ball. If he had lost that ball, I might have cried because that's what he does every single week. Second tackle here at the 25. Raiders fans are really loud right now. They're really booing this referee. Fair enough, too. Now go out to the right, Kyle Weeks. They're not losing this game based on the referee, though. They're losing this game because they haven't been good enough. The Dolphins have been much better than them. Third tackle here at the 10. Unlucky not to get a 6 again there again. Tom Starling to Ethan Sanders. Then off to Morgan Smithies. He's got rocked in the tackle at the 15 by Kurt Donahue. They get out to Ethan Sanders. Sanders is going to run this ball to the 5 on fit tackle. Take himself out of the fit tackle option. Out to Kyle Weeks. Kicks the ball over the top here. Sivalia Tamale. I don't know if that's knocked on or knocked back. It's knocked back from the Dolphins, they're saying. Knocked back from the Dolphins. So it's going to be a drop out here to the Raiders. And since they need to get rid of this stripping law, no bias bunker call then. Well, no, you can't get rid of the stripping law. You cannot get rid of a strip, but that was just an awful call. And the Dolphins are challenging this. Technically, you don't actually have to challenge this because the bunker would have reviewed this regardless. Or should have reviewed it regardless. I can't trust the bunker for shit. And no, that's just going to be knocked back here from the Dolphins. And it's going to be a dropout. Okay, cool. There's a hole in this Kaneko Zero. Lovely. Lovely. So this is going to be a drop out of here. Was fan forgetting about this week. So challenge unsuccessful there. And it will be a dropout from the Dolphins to the Raiders. Okay, well, I'm going to have to put this in this glass because otherwise that's going to spill all over me every time. Oh, jeez. Oh, it's coming out on the side. Yep, it's coming out on the side. All right, so it's going to be first tackle here for the Raiders now. First tackle for the Raiders. And they're at the 35. Now second tackle on Joe Tarpany, 30 metres away from the line. Minute 52 to go in the first half. Very important to score a try here. Ethan Sanders gets it to Zach Hosking, and Hosking's going to be at the 20 on third tackle now. Tom Starling. Starling with a good little run. Tom Starling's still going here. He's 10 metres out. Gets the offload away to Dane Laurie. Then off to Brayley. Underneath to Ethan Sanders. Kyle Weeks. Tomoko Savelio Tamale. Try time for the Raiders. Savelio Tamale. And it is 22-16 with the kick to come. Well, they got there. You haven't been amazing this first half here, Raiders, but you did get there, and it is 22-16 with a kick to come. Yeah, that was a really nice try there from Savelio Tamale, who I called as a breakout player this year. He's had an awful year on the opposite end, but at least he scores this, and it's a nice try. No defense here today, though, guys. 22-16, maybe 22-18. That's 40 points in the first half. That would be 40 points in the first half if they get this kick. If not, still 38 points in the first half. Okay, it is a nice play here from Canberra regardless, but you've really got to adjust your mindset to what this game of rugby league is nowadays. You really do. So far, this game has more magic than Magic Round for mine. Oh, yeah, no, this game has been more fun to watch than those Magic Round games. Magic Round was awful, man. It was the worst Magic Round. It was honestly one of the worst rounds of rugby league I'd ever seen. I said this then, and a lot of people agreed online in general. Like, it was just awful, bro. It was really poor quality. So hopefully this round can bring a little bit back into it, and hopefully we can get a fantastic Origin game. But yeah, last round was really disappointing. I've made the move in fancy and brought in JC captain this week. Please, JC, fire up. Hopefully, mate. Yeah, competitive at least. Yeah, this is definitely competitive comparatively. So this is right on half time too, Ethan Sanders. If he gets this, it'll be just a 4-point game, and he will miss the kick. So it will stay a 6-point game here at 22-16. Pretty poor miss there. Really should have been getting that in my opinion. But... still only a 6-point game, still literally one score difference, so not too much ultimately the difference there. But there we go, guys. That is halftime. It is 22 points to 16 to the Dolphins. Obviously, guys, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe for new round here, and let's get into the stats to read through what is going on here today. What is going on today? So the try scorers for the Raiders, Jed Stewart, Corey Horsford, Savelio Tamale with the conversions 2 from 3 for Ethan Sanders. Whilst for the Dolphins, their 22 points comes from Tavita Nafahu, Morgan Knowles, Jermaine Asako, Ray Stone, and then the conversions are 3 from 4 from Asako. There's just too many tries, man. There's so many tries in this game at the moment. But we go to possession, 56% possession to the Dolphins, 44% possession to the Raiders there. Makes sense. Obviously, both teams' completion rate has actually been pretty good here, to be fair. And there's not many errors or penalties, really. This should be a healthy time possession. But it isn't because there is too many tries being scored. So time possession you want to look at is 25 minutes. There's 11 minutes and 1 second for the Raiders, whilst there's 14 minutes and 35 seconds here for the Dolphins. That's 25, that's 25-36. You're not complaining about it, but considering the amount of tries we've scored, like that's what's really bringing that down. But there's just not been, considering the lack of errors and lack of penalties, you would have really probably like to see a little bit more than that. But again, so many tries being scored here. You go to the completion rate. Now, 80% is the minimum that you're looking for. The Raiders are at 82%. Very good. 14 from 17. Not making errors. whilst the Dolphins are at 91% for 21 for 23, which is absolutely superb. So both teams are above the 80%. The Dolphins are above the 90%, and that is fantastic. You go to the runs, 63 runs here for the Raiders for 601 run meters. That's actually very good. It's only 19 meters behind the 10 meters on average per run. It's just that they are currently 26 runs behind the Dolphins. So, that's still very good for the Raiders. The Dolphins are at 99 for 999. That'll update above 1,000. So a very good half from them. And now it's 64 for 615. Long story short, if you give the comparison, if you try to equalize that out and give the Raiders their runs to now it's 24 runs, 65 for 623, I feel like they're probably more so around the 950, maybe 950, 960 range. So they'd still be about 40 to 50 behind where the Dolphins are at, but it will be a lot closer and it's not too far behind. So it's very good run meters here actually from both of these teams, but the average set distance is definitely surely going to be in favor of the Dolphins. The post-contact meters, well, this is just an absolute shitfest. 197 for the Raiders, 315 for the Dolphins. And that is 123, is it? No, 118 post-contact meters separate the two of them through the extra 35 runs. It's actually 35 runs, sorry. It's actually 35 runs. Geez, post-contact meters is now 315 to 203 with 33 less runs. It actually may be about 315 to 300 or 315 to 35. Like, it's going to be super close. So Dolphins edge it, but it's still going to be super close there. Line breaks is 5-2 Dolphins. The Raiders defense is not defensing. Tackle breaks 15-12 to the Raiders. So the Dolphins are actually giving up a few tackle breaks. Not too many, though. And the Raiders are not giving up many tackle breaks at all, really. They're just giving up the line breaks. Average set distance, 25 meters and below is pathetic to the stream off. 25 to 30 is disgusting. 30 to 35 is underwhelming. 35 to 40 is hitting the marker. 40 to 45 is great. 45 to 50 is fantastic. And 50 plus is essentially perfect. Well, the average set distance for the Raiders is at 38.52. So that's in the normal range, hitting the job, just doing their thing. Nothing spectacular, just moving through the motions of it all at a decent enough level. Nothing great, nothing bad. Whilst the Dolphins, they're getting close to the fantastic category. They're at 44.89. Which is super close to getting into the fantastic by just 0.11. No, it's been updated down to 43.57. Still in the great category, but more so in the mid-range now. Still very good, though. So they're beating them by about 5 meters on the dot, nearly. Is how much the Dolphins are beating them by on an average set distance. Now, the average play the ball speed, 3.19 seconds and below is extremely fast. 3.2 to 3.39 is fast. 3.4 to 3.59 is average. 3.6 to 3.79 is slow. And 3.8 and above is extremely slow. The Dolphins are at 3.2 seconds, whilst the Raiders are at 3.3 seconds. So both teams there in the fast category, but the Dolphins are extremely close to going to the extremely fast category. So it is very quick gameplay here today in regards to play the ball speed. Now you go to the passing, 2 offloads to 1 to the Dolphins, so neither team making many offloads whatsoever. Forced dropouts, 2-1 from the Dolphins, and then the kick defusal is 33% here for the Raiders, 29% for the Dolphins. You go to the effective tackle percentage, and this was understandable. Like, there's no defense here today. This is on an individual metric. The defensive effective tackle percentage is a individual metric, not a team collective metric. But 85% and below is awful. 85% to 88% is underwhelming. 88% to 90% is hitting the marker, and 90% and above is essentially perfect. The Raiders are at 92.57%. That's very, very good. That's basically perfect. 187 tackles made is above the typical 160 to 180 range, whilst the 12 missed tackles is below the average of 15 to 17. That's very good by 3 as well. And the ineffective tackles of 3 is below the average of 5 to 7. So only 15 bad tackles with an above the median range tackles made. That means 92.57%. That's a fantastic category. And then you go to the Dolphins. They're also in the perfect category of 90.17%. 156 tackles made is actually slightly under the average of 160 to 180. But the missed tackles of 15 is also on the average of 15 to 17. And then the ineffective tackles is 2. So 1 less than the Raiders, but 3 less than the average of 5 to 7. So that's 17 bad tackles for the Dolphins, 15 bad tackles for the Raiders. But the reason why the percentage is still a little bit less there for the Dolphins is because they've had to make 31 less tackles than the Raiders, but yet they've got more missed tackles and only 1 less ineffective tackle. So the Raiders are definitely actually performing the better defensively on an individual level, but line breaks wise, the Dolphins have got 5 to the Raiders 2. And go to the errors, 5 to the Raiders, 4 to the Dolphins. 3 and below is really good, 4 to 6 is average, and 7 above is awful. So they're both in the average category. Penalties conceded, only 1 this game against the Raiders, 1-0, and then the ruck infringements is 3-3, so a lot of 6 agains. So long story short, this game's actually really tight. It's really, really tight right now. The line breaks is the only thing that I can see that's clearly separating the two of these teams, because sure, the runs are clearly separating them, but if the Raiders can eat into those runs, I'm telling you that they will be around the 1,000 mark now. 68 for 654. Dolphins are 101 for 1,009. They're now 11 meters behind the 10 meters average per run that you're looking for. So I really feel like if the Raiders can get some more ball here, then there's still a good chance in this game in regards to these statistics. But if they just keep playing to this same caliber, the Dolphins could still win this game 13 plus. But at the very least, this is a close competitive game at halftime where either team can still win this. The stats are not that far-fetched between the two of them, especially if you try to compare. And it just comes down to who can finish off this game the better, you know. And the Dolphins do typically finish off games the better overall, but they're not usually... They're usually having to come from behind. Right now, they're coming from in front. Bostock got them quick hands. Justin the Human says, Fuller seemed a bit shaky, or maybe just still warming up. Well, I think this is his first game, isn't it? Or did he play last week? This might be Trey Fuller's first game. It's definitely his first game playing fullback this year, though. Marcus says, not for the Waz. Magic round, best game was the Waz. No, it was not. If anything, the best game was the Roosters Cowboys, and that was a shocking game. And the reason why that was the best game was because it was 18-12. Every other game was 13 plus. Every other game was 13 plus. We got 7 13 plus results in Magic Round. 7 of them. The Sharks won 13 plus. The Dolphins won 13 plus. The Knights won 13 plus. The Panthers won 13 plus. The Warriors won 13 plus. The Manly Seagulls won 13 plus. And who was the other game between? And the Storm won 13 plus. There was only one game that was 1 of 12. No, the Warriors Broncos game was not the best game. Filipino Donator says, hi, Canberra should win though. Well, we'll see. Long way to go here. Only 6 points of difference. Only 6 points of difference. Sorry, made a missed take on Ezra Mam inclusion in the Maroons team. Not a massive fan of it. Not a massive fan, but you know, it is what it is, man. At the end of the day, I don't think he's actually going to be on the field for the Maroons. I think he's just there and thereabouts. But they're covering for Sam Walker. They need cover for Sam Walker if he was injured, or even Munster, you know. They're lacking in the depth. They've obviously moved on from Ches. They don't have the ability for Tom Dearden now, and they've got to have that depth somewhere. So you could have obviously selected somebody else like a Jake Clifford or something like that, but at the end of the day, they've had Ezra Mem around this team before as well. So it does make sense, not that I personally agree with it. Magic round 7 to 8 games of dog shit because the blowouts in the worst Magic round I've ever been to. Yeah, I think everyone's got the same agreement with that one. Marcus says, but I'm a Wise fan. Well, that's great, but you can still have a normal opinion. Like that's fine to be a Warriors fan and say, oh well, that's the best game of the round. But like you can still look at it from a neutral perspective and say that the whole round was collectively dog shit. But collectively, it was, and I think that's ultimately a fact. I don't think that I've seen anybody defend the results that we've seen at Magic Round. To be fair, do you know how many 6 agains there have been for each in this game? 3 each. The ruck infringements, it's 3-3 in this game. So that would be the 6 agains. Great to see Joe to get the call up. Joe to get the call up is absolutely massive. Now, guys, I actually haven't told you this. I've actually been really sick here today. I'm really sick. So I'm doing my best here on the stream. I am going to run off to the bathroom here just before the second half does start. So do forgive that. I'll be back in just one moment. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. I'm actually really glad that I've been able to still create as much energy as I possibly can, despite being very, very sick right now. But I'll be back in 1 second, guys. I'm just going to put it on mute for a second. All right, we back. Let me just make sure everything's still going. I'm still getting used to this new microphone, not having to mute and unmute like this. Alrighty. Yeah, geez. I tell you what, like I'm impressed. Like I could have easily skipped out on today, but I have not missed a game all season long, and I will not miss a game. We will still provide. So even though I am off my rocker here today, we are still rocking and rolling. Good to see Jojo Fafita get selected. Used to watch Fafita play for TSS in high school days. Yeah, his younger brother's then there. Well, he was there. He's not there anymore. Viliami Fafita will be a massive, massive go when he gets an opportunity. I was surprised to see Cobb on Queensland. I was surprised and not surprised. Like, he's been there before. He had a really rough start to his Dolphins days, but he's been able to open up a little bit more over these last few weeks. So I'm not ultimately crazily surprised. If Xavier Coates was fit and healthy for the Storm, I'm sure he's probably coming back sometime soon, isn't he? When does Xavier Coates come back? I swear it was meant to be around 10. This is now around 12. Is he named this week or no? No, he's not. He's not named this week. So when is Xavier Coates meant to come back? When is Xavier Coates meant to come back? I was thinking Hammer on wing and Walsh at 1. No, I'm much happy with what they've kind of gone with this time around. Now, Walsh has not been, his form has not been anywhere near warranted. He will at some stage, I don't know what Queensland typically do, but he will at one stage probably play Origin this year. But I just think that you have to go with the hot hand right now between Kalyn Ponga, who has been there before, and been amazing, a player of the game, player of the series before for Queensland. Whilst Reece Walsh was the fullback last year, Kalyn Ponga, if he didn't kind of rule himself out of Origin, and didn't have the injuries, but if he didn't rule himself out of Origin, he would have been there. So I'm okay with Kalyn Ponga being the fullback. Sick as a dog, sure no. Well, God bless you, son. We're in together here. Apparently AJ Brimson might go to the Dogs for a swap deal. Sure. So the Dolphins are running out onto the field. So are the Raiders. Second half is about to start. What's your score prediction for the second half? We've already seen plenty of points here. 38 points in the first half. How many more do we see here? And don't forget, tomorrow we'll be live for the Bulldogs versus the Storm an hour beforehand. Filipino Donates says, Walsh should have been in the team. It's crazy leaving him out. Okay, so you're saying that he should be there over Kalyn Ponga? With his form? Like, yeah, again, I'm a Queenslander. I love Reece Walsh when he plays for Queensland, but also I hate Reece Walsh when he plays for the Bronx. I don't have that hate anymore. But when he's playing for Queensland, I love him, and that's great. But I also love Kalyn Ponga. I've played for Queensland, and he's been very impactful over the years for Queensland. Whilst Reece Walsh has been there, I still feel like I would say that Kalyn Ponga individually has actually impacted Origin on a bigger level than what we've seen personally from Walsh. But that doesn't mean that I'm saying Walsh isn't an Origin player. I definitely believe that Walsh is an Origin player. But if you're asking me right now who do I select based off of Origin history, I'm probably taking Kalyn Ponga over Reece Walsh. Nintendo Freak says, Vlandis ball sucks. Tone down the 6 agains or scrap them entirely. Well, I've only actually seen 6 agains in this first half. 6 agains in this first half. And it says, raised by 13 plus. Can see them start moving the ball a lot more this half to get to the edges and up their speed, use their speed, guys. We'll see. The Raiders haven't really given you any belief and faith in that kind of comment throughout this season so far. They're not. I definitely wouldn't be relying upon that, but also we'll see. You know, the Dolphins are not exactly amazing defensively, but they have put a lot of work into their defense this season. However, you've already put 16 points past them, so there could be still plenty more points in this game. Third tackle at the 20, because the Dolphins definitely can score more points. The Raiders' defense is not good enough. That's why I think that 13 plus might be out of the equation here for the Raiders, and more so it's either Dolphins 13 plus or one of these two teams 1 or 12. I'd nearly remove the 13 plus option, because the Dolphins will still surely score a try or two more at a minimum. Reece was one of the worst players on the field in Game 3 2024 when he couldn't tackle Moses when he scored. Well, one situation does not say worst on the field, but yes, he should have done better in that situation. But no, that everyone was poor in that game. Everyone was poor. And also, it's one situation. The Dolphins, if a player, people got to remember, if a player is breaking through the line, it's not actually the fullback who you should be blaming for them having to miss a tackle. It shouldn't be the fullback. It shouldn't be on Reece Walsh. It should be on the line. Either the back rower in the line or the forward in the line or the halves in the line or whoever in the line that's missed the tackle that's allowed to be a one-on-one. It's not necessarily the fullback's fault there. Like, obviously, you want to see them be making that tackle. It is their responsibility. I think that's a knock on here from the Dolphins. No, they're going to say it was touched by the Raiders. Well, I thought there was also a touch from the Dolphins, but they're going to say knock on from the Raiders. So 0 tackle of the Dolphins at the 40. And first tackle at the 35 for Jack Bostock. Well, Ponga will hurt himself, needs to be playing for the Knights only. Yeah, that's not really how it works though, is it? So Marshall King to Stone, and then they'll be at the 33 here, the Dolphins. Tom Gilbert. Gilbert hasn't really exploded as much as he was like he obviously was in Origin, and he was a very good player a few years back. Unfortunately, since his long-term injury, he hasn't really come back to the same levels that I used to love him for. They go to the cross. Here we go. They're opening up on this left-hand wing. Bradley Schneider taking down on the 10 on 4 tackle. Good call, Brenton. So the Dolphins will be 3 metres out here from the line, fit tackle. Schneider, quick play the ball to Isai Katoa. He'll put that ball up in the in goal. Good area. Drop ball from the Raiders, and it's going to be a dropout coming on up here. Dropout coming on up. Hammer is a tool. Why is Hammer a tool? Why are you saying Hammer is a tool, Edson? Why is he copping that stray? If that's on the try line, Bostock probably scores that just then. But the Raiders, they will go for the long distance dropout, and it's going to go to the 48. The Dolphins now bring it to the 35, the 30 through Ray Stone, who does get absolutely manhandled in the tackle there by Joe Tarpany and Morgan Smithies, but mainly Tarpany there. Okay, the Raiders having to do quite a bit of defense in this opening first 4 or 5 minutes here in the second half. Tom Gilbert at the 20, second tackle. You can't give a try up this quickly in this half, Raiders. Corneli Lemuelu, he'll be at the 10 on third tackle now. Marshall King. It's pretty basic, this game, in a lot of ways too, though. It really is. Jack Bostock is going to be at the 5 on 4 tackle. Like, it's close, and we take it. We do take it, but surprised the Raiders are actually holding out the Dolphins right now. They kick this ball through. That's going to be... Oh, so close. So close. It's going to be a knock. Why are you checking this? No illegal contact on Brad Schneider? I don't think there was. They're saying no try here, but maybe apparently there was illegal contact. Where? Schneider goes straight through the line here. The ball's kicked through. No. They're going shoulder to shoulder there. There's nothing wrong with that. Bradley Schneider and I think Dane Laurie maybe. And the ball's just going to bounce away from him here, and then he's going to try and put it down here, and it's going to be a knock on. Oh, he doesn't even touch it, actually. No one touched that. Oh, what? Where did Kale Weeks touch this? Are you sure? Oh, yeah, maybe. This might actually be a dropout. Oh, I think that's Weeks, maybe. Yeah, it's going to be off Weeks. So it's going to be a dropout from the Raiders. Oh, dude, I'm feeling it on stream right now. I am absolutely feeling it. I am struggling deluxe at the moment, but we are still moving. So no try, and it's going to be a dropout here for the Raiders to the Dolphins. I really don't think that was even necessary. I understand why Weeks has just done it in general, but I really don't understand. Like, Weeks knocking that ball dead actually didn't need to happen. It was going to go dead, or it was going to be a knock on. But anyway, first tackle in for the Dolphins. They're going to be at 35 on the right side of the field. And it's a knock on from the Dolphins. Oh, well, that is unlucky for them. They were really pumping the defensive line of the Raiders, but they couldn't break through, and then they're just going to knock this ball on. So Raiders ball at 35. You got the flu of the runs. I have food poisoning. Yeah, unfortunately. A little bit of food poisoning there. But you still got to do what you got to do, mate. And we're still live here regardless. But unfortunately, the old food poisoning, son. But Raiders, that's actually really good defense from them. They held out the line quite strongly for a good 3 or 4 sets. This opening 5 minutes has been all Dolphins ball in the attack and line. All of it. But the Raiders got to hold them out and keep it. Is there a penalty here? I just heard the whistle being blown. Wait, who's been penalised? Morgan Smithy's on report. Forearm to the head of Ray Stone. This is actually going to be a penalty to the Dolphins here. So Morgan Smithy's... Oh, dude, it's so soft. We see this every tackle, bro. They're saying bullshit in the crowd right now. We see that every tackle. Like, it's a grub move. It is, but we also see that every tackle. So I'd like you to be really consistent with that call. Because it's not like Tony Staggs when he came down with force into the back of the head on the ground. That one is kind of just giving him a bit of a hey diddle in the face. Look, if you want to call out a penalty, just be consistent with it. Because we see that nearly every single tackle. Yes, the new mic does change colour, Ryan. Yeah, I can change it per stream that we're on. Jermaine Sarko is going to make the kick. So it'll be 24-16 here with 35 minutes to go of the second half. That was worse than the Stags one. If that was worse than the Stags one, then I am a Man United fan, mate. That was nowhere even close. But it is a 2-pointer for the Dolphins, 24-16. But yeah, no, I can change the colour based off of who's playing. So whoever the home team is will get it. Titans games will probably just have light blue regardless. Jeez, this Rays fans are really lighting up the camera. 24-16. And the Raiders will get this one down to the in goal for the Dolphins to come out. Bring it out to the 10. Who are they talking about? Titans best young juniors? Oh, okay. They're talking about the player who unfortunately passed away. Yeah, second tackle now at the 15 for the Dolphins. Soft penalty. Yeah, definitely a soft penalty. Like, it just is inconsistent in regards to it. Third tackle now at the 25. Raiders fans are really booing the referee here today. They really, truly believe they're getting robbed here. I don't think you've been good enough in general, but also there's been some just, how you go on decisions overall. Dolphins at the back, quick passing. Jermaine Sarko now with the ball at the 50 on fit tackle. Tell you what, I will get good sleep after this tonight, though. Can you change the colours to have like blue and gold or red and blue or just one? No, it's just the one colour. Well, I can have like the rainbow colour one where it just shows different lights the entire time. But no, you can't like design your own colour kind of deal. It just comes in the one colour or the rainbow kind of colours. So first tackle for Canberra, the 25. It goes to Dane Laurie, then to Zach Hosking. And Hosking's going to be... No, Jed Stewart, sorry. He's going to be at the 27. Dane Laurie, now to Zach Hosking. He's not really done too much of that at all here, Zach Hosking, to be fair. At the 35. Not an amazing amount of meters here on this set. Now fourth tackle at the 45 through Xavier Savage. Just nothing really going their way at the moment, Canberra. They've had no real ball here in the second half either. Ethan Sanders, at Mariota, close to full pass. I don't call it, though. And it'll be fit tackle here at the 40. Some good post contact there. He's been getting some decent post contact today on his runs. Ethan Sanders. Oh, it's a good chase here. Dane Laurie. Oh, my gosh. That was so close. They're playing it on here. This is definitely knock on Canberra. So excited to win 40 mil tonight. Yeah, I'm excited for the $4 million donation, Olivia. $4 million donation. How good. It would be cool if it changed colour depending on the team with the ball automatically. Yeah, that would be nice, but it's not possible. But that would be pretty cool. So this is definitely going to be a knock-on from Dane Laurie, surely. Yeah, contest by both players. It's definitely knock on Dane Laurie. Raiders fans are booing this. What are they booing, though? Yeah, they're going to say it's a knock-on from Dane Laurie. Raiders fans are booing everything at the moment. It's like there's been some how you go on decisions, but not everything is against you here. Just remember me when you do, Olivia. Yeah, she's got 10%, Brenton. 10% of the channel, sir. 10% of the damn well channel. All right, this is Hi Blaze, so late here in New Zealand. Joined. Now hope you get better, brother. Feel for Jairo. Sad news. Yep, no, hope I do get better quickly. I've got to go all the way to Nha Trang on Monday, a whole different place here in Vietnam. And that's like a 6-7 hour train journey. So I need to get better by Monday. But yeah, also, obviously, God bless Jairo. We spoke about that before. It's because they're from Canberra. Literally nothing to do there. Hey, Questacon is something to do. As long as you only do it 6 times a week, you won't get as... Oh, that's good passing from the Dolphins. They're at the 30, the 40, the 45, the 50. Tavita Nafahu. Wow, Dane Laurie. That is an unbelievable tackle. Dane Laurie's taken him over the sideline to the 45. That is a spectacular tackle there from him. They've rushed in to celebrate too. Like, they were away for all money, and Dane Laurie has one-on-one Tavita Nafahu right over the sideline, and all the Raiders players come in to really help him out there. That is brilliant stuff there. The Raiders are really keeping themselves in this game at the moment. They are not out of it. It's only 6 points, and it's not like the Dolphins have done anything with all their ball here in the second half. So Raiders ball here at the 42 on their own side of the field. So you got to do something with it though, Canberra. You're not getting too many opportunities in this game with the ball. You've got to do something with it now. Raiders out to Smithies, then to Ethan Sanders, out to Mariota, and there's no post contact here. He's going to lose some meters there. That was not a good run, but good defense there from the Dolphins. Second tackle at the 45. Tom Starling with a nice little cheeky run brings this ball to the 44 on third tackle now. Can have 5 legal wheat plants in Canberra, Edson. That's not nothing to do. That is true. Yeah, I do know about that. 4th tackle now for Joe Tarpany at the 30. 30 minutes to go here of the game, folks. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Penalty to the Raiders is massive. Finally, we've got a few things going Canberra's way in this game, and they're going to put themselves into a great opportunity. Weeks on 15 in fantasy. I don't even have to think about fantasy this week because I only have Supercoach draft, so we have a bye. We have all the buys on. They have to score, though. They really do. Tom Starling gets his ball to the left-hand side because we have all our buys during this. It's impossible otherwise. The Raiders, Tom Starling gets it to Joe Tarpany. Tarpany, Morgan Smithy, Sanders, Zach Hosking. Wow, good run, but he'll be taken out of the 10. Good tackle. Second tackle. Raiders go out the back. 6 again here for ruck infringement. They go to Kyle Weeks. Out to Sevilla Tamale. Don't go out to the sideline. Go inside. Whoa, good run, but it'll be 1 meter out from the line. 3 meters out now. They drag him back. Oh, this is a 6 again. That's a 6 again. Jack Bostock's lazy getting away from the tackle. Didn't call it a 6 again, though. Ethan Sanders to Joe Tarpany. Tarpany gets the offload away to Kyle Weeks. Kyle Weeks runs it himself. He'll be 10 meters away from the line. Second tackle. You got to do something with this here, Canberra. Great opportunity. It's really weird. I remember seeing the stadium packed out last year. Exactly right, Daz. Now you're getting it. Ethan Sanders, Tom Starling gets it off to Dane Laurie. Laurie taken down at the 15. Not great there, but good defense from the Dolphins. Tom Starling to Zach Hosking. Hosking runs this straight into the line. He's going to be about 8 meters away, 5 meters away here from the line now. 4th tackle. Tom Starling out to Sanders. Sanders now Dane Laurie. Dane Laurie. What was that from KO Weeks? That quality from, like, the Dolphins defensively on that set were very good. But Raiders, KO Weeks, what the fuck was that? That was awful from KO Weeks. What is he doing? Like, I know you're going for a quick tap, but jeez. Dane Laurie should have ultimately thrown that ball over the top with a double pump there. He should have seen that Sarko was up in the line against KO, and he should have double pumped it. But obviously not to be. It'll be Dolphins ball here at the 15. Thanks a lot, Weeks. Just lose me points. Peptide says, where'd all these supposed loyal Canberra fans go? Yeah, look, they're definitely not there as much as we did see them last year. Sorry, guys. I'm just feeling it's really difficult getting through this, but I'm doing my best. Yeah, the Raiders fans have completely disappeared. Like, there's nobody here. I know it's a Thursday night, but like Raiders games last year, you were seeing packed out games the entire time. Dolphins 4 tackle now at the 35, now to the 40 through Oren Keeley. Yeah, but all teams are like that, dude. They really are. All teams. Every single team. Warriors, before they were great, they really struggled with bandwagons. Now they're selling out games regardless if they're good or not, because there's some amazing publicity coming out of the Warriors, and there's some amazing PR done by the NRL, and they're really trying to capture the game in New Zealand over rugby union when the domestic game of rugby union is slipping, and you know the rugby union international matches aren't as much as you would need them to be to keep the game really moving along. So they're one of the teams that used to be like that, but not so much anymore. Tigers have been like that, but also they've still had more of a generic base for mine that still turn up to their games regardless. Fitzhugh went out to 40. Knights are similar. Like, they've got a good generic base, but like it's still not as amazing as some Knights fans do claim. Not you, Brenton, but some Knights fans online do try to claim that Knights the most loyal. It's like, well, it's not statistically necessarily true either. Second tackle with the Dolphins, every team goes through it. I'm promising you that if the Titans were ever successful, they'd sell out games every week of Titans fans, and everyone would be like, since when? Since when? Third tackle now for the Dolphins. They're going to be the 42 on the Raiders side of the field. The most loyal fan base would be Tigers. Edson. Yeah, 100% would be. Fourth tackle here at the 35. We've got a good crowd against Penrith and a few other games, but yeah, quite a few lower crowds this year. Well, nearly knock on. No, that is a knock on. This is going to be Raiders ball here at the 33. Dolphins coming in with a few errors, but the Raiders need to find a way to capitalise on it. The game against Penrith, of course, they're going to get a good crowd against Penrith, but that was also a Sunday and against the top of the table, and a slight little rivalry has been brewing over the last couple of years between Raiders and Penrith. The game against the Sharks was, I think, on a Sunday. Didn't have an amazing amount of people there. Actually ended up being a pretty good game. Peptides mate said, oh yeah, don't even start me on the Dogs. Trust me, I slap our fan base just as much. We got 60k to call when we were 6-0 last year. Why can't we get 60k when we're 3-7? Bro, you're lucky to get 20k now. And that's the crazy thing. Jordan Utah is about to come on here for the Raiders. His debut for the club. Xavier Savage, first tackle. He'll be at the 33. So the field, no, back to the 30. But yeah, no, Dogs are definitely not ones to be talking about loyalty. The issue is, though, is that there is a lot of loyal Dogs fans. There's also a lot of loyal Titans fans. A lot of loyal fans of everybody. But the Dogs are one of the more fickle, generic fan bases for the most part. So they go out to the left, but when they're pumping, they're pumping. But when they're off, geez, they are well off. And Tom Starling now, he'll get off to Joe Tarpany, fourth tackle. Ethan Sanders, quick passing. Kyle Weiss gets away from the tackle. Still going here, still going. Gets the offload away to Joe Tarpany. Tarpany here gets the offload away to Kyle Weeks, and he'll be taken out of the 38 on fifth tackle. And now they'll keep this ball up. Raiders chasing it through. Nice chasing from Dane Laurie. No, that's going to be bouncing. Zach Hosking, chance here. Dropout. Well, Hosking was a chance there, but it will go for a dropout. The Raiders are putting on the pressure, but they're just not capitalising on anything. Gender says go the Dolphins all the way. Tigers crowds outside of Leichhardt are shocking, especially at Combank. Campbelltown's here, not spectacular. No, it's not amazing for crowds at Campbelltown mostly. This year would have been, but not mostly. But yeah, Combank isn't necessarily theirs. Like, that's typically Eels. Raiders will get this ball hit the 25, so you can understand when teams... And that's the thing with Penrith as well. You know, they're having to travel all the way from Penrith for their home games. It's still a decent trek. I think it's still like half an hour, isn't it? Because they're rebuilding their stadium. Second tackle here at the 10 for the Raiders. A try would be massive. Tom Starling, Joe Tarpany, and Tarpany, he'll be 5 metres away from the line. He's pushing. He'll be 3 metres out now, third tackle. Tom Starling to Smithies, quick passing, hits the grass. Another bad mistake from Canberra. They're just not good enough in this game. They're just not good enough at the moment. Tony says, more commentary, less chat, please. Hey, Tony, how about you get a job, bro? Like, at the end of the day, we do our streams based on how we want to do them. If you don't like them, it's up to you. Like, you don't have to watch here, Tony. So, Mitchell's timed him out. Tony, you don't pay me, so who are you to tell me how to operate? At the end of the day, we will talk to the chat whenever the fuck we want to talk to the chat, champion. So, first tackle lever the Dolphins at the 22. But thank you very much for tuning in. If you want to hear the commentary when things are happening in the game, I will commentate it and let you know. But outside of that, if I want to talk to people in the chat and interact with the community, which is the whole point of this conversation, the whole point of this channel, well, then I'm going to do that. You know, it's not unfortunately all about you. And if you would like to hear just the game and watch just the game, then go on KO. Really simple stuff. Fourth tackle now for the Dolphins. They're going to be at the 50. Dude says Raiders are buttering up in the locker or something. Yeah, they're dropping a lot of ball here today, unfortunately. Fifth tackle here for the Dolphins at the 45, at the 35, sorry, on the Raiders side of the field. I reply like that to some people because the comment is just put in a very antagonistic way. If you had just said, you know, in very KO Weeks gets his ball here at the 5. He might get his break here. He's going to be away. KO Weeks away. What a hole. At the 20, the 25, the 30, the 35. He gets tripped up at the 40. Great run there from KO Weeks. Be first tackle now for the Raiders at the 40. If you had just put it across and said, like, hey, man, can we please? Or just like a normal way to put it. But instead you said, less chat, more commentary. So fuck off, man. I'll do what I want. Third tackle here for the Raiders. And they're going to be at the 50. It's actually second tackle at the 50. And Jordan Utah now gets his ball to the 50 on third tackle. Daxter says, this guy's suffering from food poisoning. He's still soldering on. That is true, Daxter. I am. Raided the ball here. It's Morgan Smithies gets his ball to the 35 on fourth tackle. Oh, dude, I'm going to have such a good rest after this game finishes. You have no idea. It's going to be so good. Fourth tackle now to 34. Tom Starling gets it to Ethan Sanders. Sanders now to Dane Laurie. Dane Laurie has to go down. Well, he does go down. They've called a penalty, but again, lack of discipline here from Canberra. Lack of discipline from Canberra, whether it be a knock-on or whether it be a penalty, no matter what at the moment, the Raiders just keep coming up with the wrong play at the wrong time. Thinks he's Tony Soprano with that attitude. Yeah, exactly. You know, you can be nice about it. Like at the end of the day, if someone rather listen to commentary and just say like, oh, I'd prefer to hear probably more commentary than chat. You know, that'd be great. But I understand if not, I'll be like, yeah, look, that's not really how we operate this channel, man. But when you come with attitude like that, I'll tell you to get a job. First tackle here for the Dolphins. They're going to be at the 45. And now they'll be at the 40 on second tackle. 20 minutes to go here of the game, folks. Unless you're Tony Soprano, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. They go 6 again here for the Dolphins. Sakatoa, Bradley Schneider. Schneider's actually taken down to the 20, and they didn't actually give him a 6 again. I heard someone yell out 6 again. Must have been from the crowd in the broadcast. Canelli Lawelu, arguably forward pass. Fourth tackle here at the 15. Yeah, most of the crowd did. I would definitely say that was a forward pass, and commentary's talking about it now too. Isaiah Katoa, he'll be taken down to the 10 on fifth tackle. And no, he gets the offload away. It's going to bounce here for Marshall King. Then off to Donahue. He loses the ball backwards. K Weeks picks it up, and it's going to be... I don't know if they've actually called this backwards or forwards. It's going to be backwards. So first tackle now for the Raiders. Now second, and they're going to be at the 15. The 8 points is a huge buffer, though. They're not in the clear, but that penalty is so important at the moment that they took that 2-pointer. Is the ball made of butter? A lot of drop ball. But we're seeing that in all games at the moment, man. This is the part of the game where the Dolphins will run away with it because defenses can't cope. Cheers, Landis. That is usually when it happens, yeah. The last 10, 15 minutes is when a team like the Dolphins will run away with it. In a game like this, Ethan Sanders is going to go for a 40-20 here, but just nowhere near the angle. It's a good kick, and it's going to go down to the 10, but just no angle on it for a 40-20. Trey Fuller brings it out to the 24. I still would not be surprised if like the Dolphins went over 40 in this game. Despite the fact they're at 24, they would need 3 tries to get there. I would not ultimately be surprised if the Dolphins hit 40 still. And they'll get this ball to the 40 on third tackle. I just don't know if the Raiders have got it in them right now. And I guess this is what we were saying in the Penrith game, even though they were much better in the Penrith game. I just don't know if they have it in them for another 2 tries. They've had so many opportunities and they just keep knocking the ball on or giving away a penalty. Game's gone if Origin is a 30-26 type of game. Typically, game 1 is quite low scoring. Raiders will get the ball and get absolutely crunched to Marley. Well, he get away from one tackle. He got smashed, and then he's going to get taken back here to the 4 on first tackle. There's still a little bit of feeling. Well, that's obstruction. You can't run behind your play like that. Should have been a penalty, Dolphins there. Second tackle here at the 10. But they pick and choose when obstructions actually matter in the game of rugby league. Jed Stewart, he's claiming a high tackle here. Won't get it. Third tackle at 20. New sponsor for the show, Gastro Stop. Well, we do actually have something coming in very soon. Fourth tackle here at the 25. And Tom Starling... And he'll be at the 40 on fifth tackle. Yeah, it's actually quite funny. The game has opened up a lot more than what the first half represented, but yet we've only seen 1 penalty goal in general. Like, that's it. We haven't seen anything really in the second half. This is a lot better. This second half is actually quite enjoyable to watch here. Dolphins will be taken down to the 30 here on first tackle. I'm so glad they didn't try and call that as a high tackle. That would have been so ridiculous. Second tackle now at the 35. underneath to Jack Bostock. I can't believe it. Like, this second half is actually really enjoyable. Like, it looked like it was going to be a very high scoring game. Now this is going back to quite normal. I'd argue there was a knock on there. And I will say knock on here for the Dolphins. Raiders bought the 45. Raiders bought the 45, but this is the thing. They've gotten this opportunity many times. Very, very, many times. 17 minutes to go here at the game. Raiders, here's your chance. Tony says, read my comment I said, please. Very polite, thanks. All right, man. Let's just move on, man. At the end of the day, we commentate how we please here, but if you're enjoying it, great. I appreciate you for being here and get involved in the conversation if you'd like. If not, there's plenty of other places for you to be. Much appreciated. First tackle now for the Raiders at the 50. You've also got to realize as well that today it's... I'm going to bite back like that regardless. But like today of all days, I am very, very sick right now. So I'm doing my best to get through this. But with that being said, we get those kind of comments all the time and you just get it. You get super over it. Third tackle here at 33. 16 and a half minutes to go here. Tony read mine too. Peptide mate says. Corey Horsra to Brayley at Mariotta. 20 metres out of the line. 4 tackle. Raiders score here and we've got a massive game on. Corey Horsra. Now he'll be at the 15 on 5th tackle. Why is Bro closing his eyes before he gets hit? They go to the left-hand side. Sanders kicks it through. Sevilla Tomato. Drop out Trey Fuller. Trey Fuller puts it down. There'll be a dropout coming on up. Still 16 minutes left here. Still plenty of time, son. Still plenty of damn well time here. Oh, and no more time left with my phone. I'm out of charge. 15:40 to go. Do not go for a short drop out here, Dolphins. Go for the long one. You're up by 8. You don't want to give them a chance. So what they do is they go for a medium one, really. But guess what? The Rays will get it. Jed Stewart here at the 15 on first tackle. Bit of a medium one. You didn't really know which way they were going with that. So Zach Hosking 6 again here for the Raiders. They're 10 metres out from the line. Here they come. But you've also had plenty of chances down here and you keep knocking the ball on, so find a way over. Tom Starling, Ethan Sanders. Sanders, short ball into the line for Jordan Utah. He's 3 metres away from the line, second tackle. He's on debut. Out to Mariota. At the back, Tom Starling. Ethan Sanders. Sanders now to Dane Laurie. Kale Weeks, quick passing. Jed Stewart at the 10. 5 metres out, 4 tackle, 15 to go. Dane Laurie. And now Joe Tarpany. And Tarpany's going to be 10 metres out. Ricky Stewart's neighbour was a high jumper by the look of Jed. So they would go to the right. Dane Laurie kicks it through. Try time. Zach Hosking. And did I not call it? I called Zach Hosking as a try scorer. And Zach Hosking will get it. It's a try for the Raiders. 24-20 with a kid to come. And we have a game on here, ladies and gentlemen. Ho, ho, ho. We got a game on here. We got a game on here. It was one of my... I said this was my most confident try scorer prediction here today. And there you go. You got Zach Hosking for you. Kurt Donohue's coming across here. And unfortunately, he just knocks that ball on. And Zach Hosking's waiting for the ball to bounce. And it lands right for Zach Hosking to put it down. Well, maybe it's about to be a 2-point game. Does Ethan Sanders have a 2-point field goal in him? I know he's got a 1-point field goal in him. But does he have a 2-pointer field goal in him? Jermaine Asako has a good field goal in him. Jermaine Asako has a field goal in him, and I don't think Asai Katoa does. Hey, Dolphins fans, outside of Asako, who would kick your field goal here today? Avrilo's not playing. I don't know. Outside of Asako, I can't see another field goal kicker in your team unless I'm mistaken with Asai Katoa. For the Raiders, I guess you're having to rely on Ethan Sanders, but does he have a 2-point field goal in him? Tiger says Raiders are frauds. How can you be a fraud when you're in the bottom bloody 5? You're a scammer. If you're in the bottom 5, you're a scammer. They're just not on the ladder. Ethan Sanders gets the kick, so it is 24-22 with 13 minutes to go here in the game. Katoa can. Has Katoa kicked a field goal before? It does. 13 minutes left. And there's Simon, the Raiders drummer, getting into him. Fire up, Simon. Fire up, Simon. But it goes back to the error that we saw from the Dolphins at that 50. So some 81. Look at you, man. Like I said, if you enjoy the streams, we appreciate you. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But we've got a good 13 minutes coming up here, and it's going to get pretty crazy because this has been a pretty enjoyable second half to watch as a neutral. You know, I'm not a fan of either of these two teams, but it's been a pretty enjoyable second half to watch, besides the knock-ons, but you have to expect that in today's day and age. So Corey Horsbutt, he'll be at the 10, and Dane Laurie, he'll get it off to Jed Stewart, and Jed Stewart at the 15. Dolphins, you'd really want to hold out here because the teams directly above you will all receive buys this week, and it's not like that really impacts you greatly, but it just loses your step, loses your sneaky little trick, and you've only won the, what, 4? Is it 4 games? Oh, Dane Laurie loses the ball. Oh, my gosh, that's poor. I want to quickly go to the ladder here. So you lose this. You lose this. Yeah, currently you're in 10th position. Sharks have gone to 7th. Cowboys have gone to 8th. And Tigers up to 9th. Dolphins are currently in 10th position. You lose this. You're not going to go below the Broncos or the Raiders, but you're bringing yourself down there back into that conversation. Second tackle. That's right. How many? Yeah, the Dolphins have won 5 games. Third tackle now for the Dolphins, and they're going to be at the 15. I'd assume anyone that was mentored by Cleary could do anything. Mentored by Daz, mate. And Trey Fuller will be at the 15 on 4th tackle. Bostock, this is your time. Well, 24-22, 2-point game. 12 metres out. They go to the left-hand side with Katoa. Katoa now out the back to Schneider. Jeez. 5th tackle now at the 13. My bad, guys. Katoa, he'll kick this ball into the corner. Bostock coming through. I think he's caught that from outside of the field of play. Yeah, it's going to be a dropout. They'll check this in the bunker, but I'm pretty certain this is a dropout. Tamale does his best to get back in the in-goal, but no, he's definitely... Well, technically that's a tackle in air there from Bostock. That should actually be a penalty against Jack Bostock for a tackle in air. They're not going to call it, but that should have been a penalty for a tackle in the air. So the Dolphins, yeah, it's not really about you asking for it though, Tony. It's more so the fact that it's really hectic in the game. So what you'll notice with these streams, Tony, is that when something's happening in the game and when we're in the real crunch of it all, we'll be focused heavily on the game. But when nothing's really going on, we do have that conversation, that chat, and we look at other things around the game or other things in general. Right now is the last 10 minutes. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here, guys. 10 minutes to go. And it is close. The 2-point game, Dolphins 35 metres out, second tackle, now third tackle at the 25. So now we're hectic and we're play by play. When there's nothing really going on, I kind of go in and out of when we need to talk about it. They go to the left to Katoa. Schneider's at the 15, gets through. Still, oh, that's so bad defense. Oh my gosh, that defense is actually pathetic. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, I can't even give Bradley Schneider that. I can't even give Bradley Schneider that try. That is awful defense from the Raiders. That is actually horrific defense from Canberra. Bradley Schneider has run into the line here, and like 3 Canberra Raiders players have just fallen off him. Look at this. Schneider, Dane Laurie falls off him. KO Weeks, awful. And then Zach Hosking, awful. That was awful from Canberra. That was actually awful. Dane Laurie, pathetic attempt at a tackle. KO Weeks, that is horrific attempt of a tackle. And Zach Hosking can't make a play because KO Weeks knocks him over. That defense from Canberra has just lost you the game for starters, but also nowhere near good enough. And especially when your second half has actually been quite impressive. Your defense in the game, for the most part, has been quite impressive besides the line breaks in the first half. But that is poor. That is poor. Players doesn't want to hit put on him by Tony, so he's wising up. I'm terrified, Nate. I'm just trying to survive right now, mate. I'm just trying to survive. I'm just trying to get through the last 9 minutes of this game, and then we'll be on for the Bulldog Storm tomorrow. I think I'll be better. Food poisoning doesn't last for too long usually. Well, I don't think this is like an awful food poisoning, but it's just like, it's not great. Sums up the Raiders season. Yeah, it kind of does defensively. It kind of does. Raiders are looking good. Like, they had the momentum in the second half, and then they just threw it all away. Now, it should be good for Bulldog Storm tomorrow. This is just... Well, this shows to you guys that no matter what, I am consistent. Even when I'm sick, I'm still here. Still have not missed a single game of rugby league this season, but it is 30-22 with 8 minutes to go here of the game. 8 minutes to go here of the game. That's such bad defense from Kyle Weeks and from Dane Laurie. Such bad defense. Porcelain throne will fix it. Mate, best friend. Best friend today. 8.5 to go here. We've got a random Broncos fan in the crowd. We've got a random Roosters fan there. We've got a... Oh! Well, that's a random kick from the Raiders. Off of the kickoff, they've kicked this directly over the 25. It's going to be Raiders ball, 25 metres out. That's a really good start there from the Raiders. That's really good stuff. That's like a Nathan Cleary special. They've not gone for the shorty. They've gone for the sideline, and they've absolutely banged it. And Canberra are going to get an attack 24 metres away here from the line. Kobe says, yo, Tony, would you know where to find chicks? He's had plenty of chicks in his day, son. But I tell you, I've already told you, and I will tell you again, you're not a Titans fan. That's the problem. Tony says, I'm in the Philippines now. A beautiful 22-year-old beauty. There you go. I knew it. I knew it, Kobe. I called it. He's had plenty in his time. Don't you worry. Second tackle here at the 5. I go to the right-hand side off to Ethan Sanders. Sanders now, I'm in Vietnam. I'm in Ho Chi Minh. So, and the like. So I know what you're doing there, son. It's the third tackle now. They go out to the left. They go to Ethan Sanders, and Sanders is going to be at the 9. Completely separate purposes that we're there. But I also know what you're doing. I know why you're there. They go Kale Weeks off to Tomoko, and Tomoko is going to be at the 10 on fifth tackle. Jake says plenty of chicks in Thailand. That's debatable, isn't it? Fifth tackle here at the 10. They give it off to Ethan Sanders. Sanders is going to kick that ball across. Raiders go up for it, knock it back. Chance here for Canberra. They offload at the back again. Jed Stewart kicks it through. The Dolphins will get it. There might be a penalty here. There is a penalty to the Raiders coming up at the 10, yeah. Penalty to the Raiders at the 10. 6 minutes and 45 seconds to go here of the game. At a brothel, but I'm afraid you couldn't even score in that with a $100 note. Daz just slapped you there. He's just slapped you there, Kobe. Oh, I think I just realised his name too. Dads, have a think about his name and you can decide whether he can stay on the channel or not. First tackle here for the Raiders and they're going to be at the 10. First tackle. Could be deep in it, but I'm pretty certain I know what it means. And they're going to go to the left-hand side. And they'll be at the 4. 6 again here. First tackle. Out to Dane Laurie. Dane Laurie at the 15. And now he'll be taken down to the 10. And now Tom Starling to Joe Tarpany. Tarpany runs this ball himself 3 minutes out. This is kind of their last opportunity to get back in this game. Tom Starling on third tackle. Ethan Sanders kicks it through. Too long, too deep. 7 tackle set. Not good enough on third tackle. Not good enough there on third tackle. They're going to check something here. I think the Raiders are challenging something. Yeah. Yeah, Brenton, what's your thoughts? Peptides, have a look at the chat and think about it. There's no touch here from the Dolphins. Does Bostock have any involvement? I don't know. We'll have to see what angle he comes in at. And Bostock... Oh, no, this should be fine. Yeah, just hold his line. It's fine. It's just going to be Dolphins ball here at the 20. It will be just Dolphins ball at the 20. Rory says, sums up the Raiders for the last 10 years, scoring a try and then conceding one almost immediately. As a Titans fan, I feel you, mate. I feel you. Yeah, I'm probably going to do that, to be fair. So first tackle here for the Dolphins, and they're going to be 25 metres away. 0 tackle, sorry, for the Dolphins. They're 25 metres away here from their own line. Now first tackle at the 30. Oh, no, he definitely was, Brendan. Daz is a Lakers fan. Second tackle now at the 40. And now they'll be at the 45, and there's going to be a penalty here to the Dolphins. That's definitely game now. And don't worry, Daz, I did you one better. Don't forget, guys, we'll be live for the Dogs versus the Storm tomorrow night. On Saturday, we'll be live as... Shit, who's playing on Saturday? Warriors, Dragons, and Titans, Manly. And then on Sunday, we're live for... Shit, who are we live for on Sunday? Who's the game on Sunday? It's not Knights Eels. Knights Eels, I think, is next Friday. I'm not too sure. Who's the game on Sunday right now? I can tell you right now, no one's going to care about that game. No one's going to care because everyone's going to be thinking about Origin. Cowboys, Rabbitohs. Nobody's going to care about that game. Everyone's going to be thinking about Origin, man. So first tackle now for the Dolphins. They're going to be at the 35. 4.5 minutes to go here. Seems like all the middle pack are scoring tonight. Pretty much. This is Bostock. Who were you thinking about, Brenton? Who were you thinking about? Dolphins are not scoring 49, Splash TV. There's 4 minutes to go. They would need to score 19 points. They go Isai Katoa, and Katoa now at the 10. I would not be shock horrid if the Dolphins were able to still get another try right now. Maybe even 2. That's just what they kind of do. And now they're going to be 5 meters away. Fair enough. Out to the left. Now they're 3 meters away. Fit tackle. Cowboys, Rabbitohs. Out to... Here's the chance. Here's the chance. It's Isai Katoa to end the game. Trey Fuller back on the inside. Trey Fuller back on the inside. Oh, he held just short. Oh my gosh, he's allowed to be stripped. It's allowed to be stripped. It's been stripped. And that'll be fit tackle. It's allowed to be stripped. Unless they're saying they went backwards, because that would have been 6 again, wouldn't it? If you strip the ball, sure, that's 6 again. Even though you're legally allowed to do it. It's not a penalty. But is it not just straight up a 6 again for the Dolphins? Well, they didn't call that. So the Raiders, Matty Tomoko will bring this ball here to the 13 on second tackle. You have to score essentially this set right now. I'd argue that was a penalty, but they don't call it. Corey Horsburgh will do absolutely nothing with it. There's the offside penalty. Rory says, knowing Raiders will probably score in the last second, knowing it's already too late. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. Well, it's a Dolphins penalty. Forget that. Oh, it's a penalty of the Dolphins for the dissent against Corey Horsburgh. Oh, he grinds me, bro. By the way, that crowd is pathetic. This crowd in Canberra tonight is pathetic. I'm sorry, but as Daz was saying before, you were selling out games last year, and now I don't want to hear that it's a Thursday night. Like, Thursday night means probably not a sellout, but also last year you were practically selling out this stadium every single game. That's a knock on there from Fini Fubiaki. So the Raiders will get the ball here at the 10. Here's your last chance. You got to score and score again. I mean, match total 49. Oh, well, this is already over. It's 52. Katoa's kicked 1 field goal in his career. Oh, there you go. Jermaine will be the guy that'll be going for the field goals for him, but 2 minutes left. You've got... Oh, they're going to go for a kick, are they? Kaya Weeks is going to kick this one down for Xavier Savage. It's not going to be deep. Is that a 2040? Yeah, it is. It's a 2040. So it's actually going to be Raiders ball here at the 38. If they be quick here... People forget this rule exists. The 20-40 is the same as the 40-20, just from within your 20 going past the 40. So this is Raiders ball here at the 35. Smart play. Corey Horsburgh at the 33. Raiders, you have to score here and score again. Brayley underneath to Hosking, and Hosking is going to be at the 25 on second tackle. If they come back and win this, I'll get nude. The 8 points is too much, man. If it was 6 points, entirely possible, but 8 points in a minute 16. They give it out to Matty Tomoko. Tomoko is going to be about 5 minutes away from the line here. Third tackle. At least it's been a 1-12 close game, though. At least it has been. I don't think the Dolphins are scoring again. Ethan Sanders, quick passing. Starling, Zach Hosking. Hosking then to Laurie. Xavier Savage. No. No, dude, no. And that'll be the game, folks. 50 seconds to go here. Laurie kicks the ball directly to the Dolphins, and the Dolphins are going to win this 30-22. Well, guys, we survived. I survived the food poisoning game. Raiders fans, you haven't necessarily survived, but I hope you still enjoyed the stream. Yeah, no nude alert right now, Paul, but if we beat Manly, might be talking something. We might be talking something. I already got my shirt off against the Eels. Might be seeing another strip show here. Might be seeing another strip show. We beat Manly. Fifth tackle at 30 for the Dolphins. Well, good win for you, Dolphins. You had no Herbie Farnworth. You had no Hamiso. No Max Plath. No Tom Flegler. No Cody Nikorima. No damn well problem. That is the end of the game. 30-22 here to the Dolphins. And they will put themselves... They will now go to 7th position for the time being. No, they will be in 7... No. Yeah, they will be. They will go above the Sharks. So they'll be in 7th position, the Dolphins. They would need the Rabbitohs to get smacked by the Cowboys on Sunday to drop off, or Titans to really whoop Manly. Not happening. So ultimately, Dolphins, the lowest you'll finish this week is in 7th. But the Cowboys could also still jump above you too. So you actually go into 8th with the Cowboys win. Unless the Cowboys won by like 30, but also that's not necessarily massively beneficial to you either. But there we go, guys. That's going to do me here for today. I'll see you tomorrow for Bulldog Storm. I'm going to go rest up. I did my best to get through this, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as we possibly can. But all right, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.